Hi everyone! Welcome to another episode of Chud Watch. Today we're going to be talking about horse medicine and why you shouldn't take it unless you're a horse. I'm Hannah. How are you all doing? Tucker White with 30 bits says if you need a few yucks, check out what's trending here on the Bird app. Yeah, the Biden resign stuff I saw. Killjoy says COVID is a lie, folks. Take the red horse pill. Don't take the horse pill. Stop taking horse medicine. Yeah, Jake tweeted that. I saw it. Yes, I saw they're pooping themselves too. I know. I know the horse medicine is making them have big diarrheas. I know. How about horse paste? Don't take any medicine that's like, hey, give this to your horse. Look in the mirror. Are you a horse? If you're not a horse, don't take the horse medicine. Just say nay to horse medicine. Oh, boo yourself! Who needs horse pills when we got cocaine to truly cure COVID? Wouldn't that be funny? If the cure for COVID was cocaine, and the end of the pandemic was everyone just having a big coke party? PK the Lost, thanks for 13 months, says, what a wonderful year. Plus of Hannah fun, and I'm in my new place so I can watch on the regular again. Fun. Glad that you're all settled. So yeah, today we're going to talk about and try and get to the bottom of where the origin of the whole the right taking horse medicine for COVID thing came from. And then probably just make fun of it. It's serious, but like, what, people are taking horse medicine. You expect me to not laugh at it? I don't know. John Doyle is a new I don't know how much of the other stuff we're going to get to today. Because I also wanted to cover this. Sidney Powell, Lynn Wood, and the various other lawyers who were signed on to the Kraken lawsuit. That, remember, the Kraken and the Q crowd was like this huge thing that was going to completely overturn the election, and God King Trump will rise to power once again. No, not only did the lawsuit get thrown out, but the order has come down, and all of the lawyers signed on to this lawsuit have been sanctioned and sentenced to monetary fines, as well as 12 hours of mandatory legal training, much of which is going to involve election law. So I'm sure Sidney Powell will be very happy that the courts are forcing her to sit down in a classroom for 12 hours and learn about the law. So yeah, gonna be a good one today. Ice Queen says, I'd be so down for a Coke party, and seriously, how desperate to own a Libs do you have to be to get medicine for a human from a feed store? Flat Earther arrested at Mount Rushmore? Fun. We'll have to check that out. By the way, you know Peter? Of course you know Peter. If you watch my channel, you know Peter. Peter finally blocked me on Twitter. I sent him the, I tweeted at him that Sidney Powell and them were being sanctioned for the lawsuit, and Peter blocked me. So, that's sad. Daddy Sume, thanks for gifting a sub. Bumble Homestead with 100 bits, thank you. It's almost September. I'm excited for next month. Next month, subscriptions and gift subs are 20% off. So that'll be fun. Overthought says, wake up, sheeple. Time to take my livestock meds. Nick says, everyone talks about September, but nobody talks about Dom-sember. Tucker White says, we have Sidney Powell on record saying all of this is bullshit, so putting aside the nonsensical it's all part of the plan shit, what's the end game for people like Powell and Rudy Giuliani? To grift, make money, probably. Ice Queen says, success and bits for hype. Sidney Powell, from what I've seen, might actually have some mental stuff going on, though, so I can't say for sure with her. Giuliani's just a big turd, though. Moppy says, how's ivermectin stock doing? Honestly, I wonder if it's hurting them, because that can't be good PR, right? Although people are buying it, so I don't know. Nick says, at Tucker White, to erode faith in democracy and ruin this nation. 85% to level 1. Let's go over some bad medical takes while we do this hype train. This person just says, germs do not cause disease. I guess we're back to people questioning the germ theory of medicine now. So that's fun. God, I really need to get my bangs trimmed. Look at how bad this is. Whoosh. It's like I'm wearing a baseball cap made of hair. Please say man may have died after using a high-powered epoxy resin to seal his private parts during intercourse to ensure protection from pregnancy. Condoms, guys. Condoms. Tucker White says, Hannah, after the show, Dear Diary, Peter blocked me on the Bird app. Ha ha ha. This person says, it's not rock science. It's not rock science. Any COVID vaccine mandate violates the Nuremberg Code, which makes mandates illegal. No, it doesn't. Morok says, it's time for your regularly scheduled update on what my Pathfinder characters are up to. My time traveler is building a flesh golem to house after her altar. Said golem has a +11 to disarm and avoid break checks. Cool. Steve with a Q says, he's right, it's not geology. Daddy Sume says, Hannah, we all know our humors are why we get sick. Too much bile and blood. Gotta get leeches in there. You gotta balance those humors. In an email Bilik sends after our meeting, she goes back to my idea that some women weren't meant to have babies the holistic way. There are those among us who believe that if the baby can't survive a home labor, it's okay for it to pass peacefully, she writes. I do not subscribe to this, but I know that some feel that if a baby cannot make it through birth, it's not favored evolutionarily. Oh my god. That's disgusting. Go to the hospital, you sicko. 96% to level 1. Do yourself a little research. All vertebrates, animals with bones, are susceptible to the same diseases. That means a hummingbird can suffer heart disease, diabetes, etc. In the agricultural industry, they have cured all of these diseases over 75 years ago. Think for a minute. Farmers can't afford sick animals. Oh no. 10 seconds left and we're at 98%. Are we really gonna let this die at level 1? Boo! Simple Cat Girl says, but they think pro-choice wasn't, but they think pro-choice wants babies dead. Daddy Sume with 50 bits, Nick with 50 bits says no. Hello, Love Doves with 300 bits, Stonecrow Bell, thanks for gifting a sub. Level 1 is complete. That was by the skin of our teeth. My hair looks very flat today. I need to put more of that curl stuff in it. Hentai Skeleton says, we cured all animal disease. Why am I paying for vet school then? Man eats to die. The world is hold on, let me turn this off, the music. The world is flooded with books on food and feeding. No one seems to realize that eating is not natural, but an acquired habit, like smoking or drinking, and that air is the cosmic reservoir of all things, including the substance that builds and sustains the human body. Jody Girl, thanks for 100 bits. Procagom, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs to the community. A Colston with 30 says, we wouldn't fail at level 1 hype train. Who do you think we are? Jake's channel? Burn. More proof that eating is not only a habit, but a bad one, appears in the fact that a sick man often begins at once to recover when given no food, and even shows signs of growing younger. This could not be, and it would be dangerous for one to fast. If eating were natural and food were needed to sustain the body, why does man seem to starve to death when deprived of food? That riddle, man's miraculous unused power considers. For more than half a century, the author read books on food and feeding and closely followed the arguments and explanations. He found those who favored vegetarianism omitted all the bad features, and the same course was pursued by those who favored carnivorism. Books favoring vegetarianism say nothing of the damaging qualities of vegetables and cereals. Those favoring carnivorism carefully admit the damaging properties of flesh. These authors led their readers astray with half-truths. A half-truth is more dangerous than a lie, and it is more misleading. Please eat food. Pseudosapien, thanks for 14 months, says, what did I miss? Should we all take horse drugs? Could I maybe use cat instead of dewormer? So many queries. Don't take horse medicine. Tucker White with a link.
What the hell was that?
Some cat girl says, but I like candy. Bitter old ass broad with 300 bits says, my youngest daughters went into fetal distress during my labor because I had been in labor so long. She was healthy. Those dumbass conservatives are assholes. I don't even know if they're conservatives. I think they're like hippies. A lot of the hippies do home birth. I don't know though. Nick says, don't take horse drugs. Bojack kills. Narandia Owl says, please eat food. Hannah with the hot takes. Daddy Sume says, but I like my ketamine. Moppy Muttons with 30 bits. Thank you. 29% to level 5. People need to overstand. Wait, overstand? Do they think overstand means knowing something more than understand? Because that's not what that means. X-T, thanks for your level 3 subscription. For 9 months. That's a sub baby. That's like a super sub baby. This sub baby's name is going to be Troy McClure. Nick Bushy PP, or no, Nick Bush YPP. I always forget, sorry. Says, I do not stand under your authority. Anyway, people need to overstand everything in the hospital is synthetic and chemical based. You are biological. Oh no, no one tell this guy that biology is chemical in nature. That sub really likes fish. Yeah. Your molecular structure is very similar to that of plants. Your body recognizes plants. It does not recognize chemicals. Doctors spend many years studying the effects of chemicals on the human body, but every body is different, so chemicals can have different reactions on different people. That's why doctors can only practice. It's all theory. The only thing that can cure you of dis-ease is your food, mineral, vitamin, nutritional water intake. All the rest is just a shot in the dark. Hospitals are a business. A big business will never want to cure you. Why would they want to lose a customer? Nick with a comic. Muddy with 100 bits says, hype, also hello, I just got an x-ray taken today because I fucked up my back. But your streams, also the medicine I was given, are making me feel much better. It's mostly your streams, though. Yeah, I'm almost as effective as horse medicine. Fields arranged by Purity. Sociologists. Psychologists saying sociology is just applied psychology. I've seen this before. Biologists saying psychology is just applied biology. Chemists saying biology is just applied chemistry. Physicists saying, which is just applied physics. It's nice to be on top. And then there's a mathematician that says, oh hey, I didn't see you guys all the way over there. Hydrate. I'm just a sack of chemicals that can tell dick jokes. David says, also, a virus cannot be physically transmitted because they're internal to our own bodies. That's the elephant in the room. Germ theory has never been proven, hence why it's still a theory. Things exit your body, David. It's not a closed system. You breathe in and out. When you talk, or cough, or sneeze, you're letting out particulates into the air full of stuff that was just in your body. You eat food, you shit, you piss, you throw up. What? That's true. Baja says it's never been proven that she shits or pisses. True. No, I've seen you pee. I've seen you pee. It's true. It's true, chat. I've seen her pee. She pees. Mr. X8 says, damn it, I want to unlock all the doggo emotes. Stupid capitalism. Nick says, if someone tells you something full of chemicals, just tell them in your best Tommy Chong voice, you're a chemical! Muddy says, and then I would say, but what about the theory of gravity? But now there's people who don't believe in that either. Yeah. It's fucked up. Guys, get your heads out of the fucking gutter. We live together. Of course I've seen her pee. You never just... I was brushing my teeth, and she was on the toilet peeing. Not everything is a sex thing, guys. Sometimes you just have to pee. Nurses and doctors complaining about those making personal medical choices but have no problem saving the lives of drug dealers, gangbangers from gunshot wounds, or child rapists, murderers transferring from prison need to do some serious soul searching. In both cases, they're trying to follow their Hippocratic oath to do no harm. If they're trying to keep you from taking horse medicine that will hurt you and destroy your liver, at best, and they're trying to save these people who they probably find morally repugnant, they don't get to make that call. When you're a doctor, you just are supposed to do no harm. That includes telling idiots, no, I'm not going to prescribe you horse medicine. Opinion, children almost never die of COVID, and immunity after infection confers significant protection, writes Colin Coulter. Ew. And it says, as someone who hopes to soon teach science to children. Oh. I don't like that. Stop getting mammograms. Big Pharma set up the technology to cause breast cancer. Just look at how many people discover they have breast cancer after their mammograms. Clearly. Oh, we're fucked. People are so dumb. Brain Grapes says, considering that Florida is a swing state, do you think COVID will push it blue? I hope so. I'd like to take some positive out of all this needless death. Nick says, a 13-year-old died from COVID in Oklahoma today. Colin Coulter, nope, can't read that. For thousands of years, disease pathogens have spread from person to person. Never before have carriers been blamed for infecting the next sick person. This is a very dangerous ideology. Someone's never heard of Typhoid Mary. Are you kidding me? And we're also in a position where you have the opportunity for free to go and get vaccinated. You are making a conscious choice like Typhoid Mary did. Fuck you. Unvaccinated sperm will be the biological version of Bitcoin. I hate that sentence for a variety of reasons. So don't get the vax and hodl your seed. Hodl. Hodl. What's hodl mean? H-O-D-L? Ice Queen says, that has the same energy as 45 saying we shouldn't be testing COVID because that drives the numbers up, as if they wouldn't have COVID if they didn't get tested. I mean, it would help him. It would make his numbers look lower. It would be a lie, but that's why he said it. It means hold? Why does it mean hold? Why is it like that? It's a crypto thing meaning hold? Yeah, but why don't they just say hold? Like, how did that become a meme? Yeah, I understand, but like, did someone who's big in the community make a typo on a big important post once and everyone memed it? Did I get the tip? Sorry, let me check. How far back would it be? What about Bob says, hype train go 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 with $3. Yeah, sorry, that doesn't show up in my feed. I have to manually check it for that. My bad. Came a thing because of a common typo? Oh, okay. Oh, this one was bad. FDA says I'm not a cow. Fucking moo, bitches. If they have to put this message out there, that means they've lost control. It works for a thoroughbred racehorse worth $1.5 million than it works for a human. The FDA is evil. Stone Corbell says, it's a stupid internet thing like saying te instead of the. Ah. Not phrenology. You need to brush up on your biology and sociology. Males with their much larger skeletons are much more likely to commit violent acts than females. Males are responsible for almost 10% of sexual assaults on females. That's why women need spaces free of men. Oh, it's a turf thing. Hold on. It's been a while since we... Oh, I didn't unpack them yet. Hold on. Pens. I don't have my measury thing, unfortunately. The bones! We have to look at the skeletons! We have to look at the bones! The bones, the skeleton. What's the size of the skeleton? If we don't know the size of your skeleton, we don't know if you're going to assault me. What size is your skeleton? Let me smell the bones. Let me smell the bones. Race can be reliably determined by analysis of skull shape alone. Oh boy. Hentai Skeleton says I was not ready and that legit made me jump. Prokagam says I thought HODL stood for hold on for dear life. No idea. Moppy Mutton says it appears that sperm retention could be a contributing factor to the current insanity. Hold your stock, don't sell, and hold your seed. Oh boy. There's an enzyme called luciferase in the vaccine. I checked Google and it says it's an illuminated enzyme. Sounds like a form of radiation. I can't see or hear Baha right now, but I feel like she just did a facepalm. You are some kind of crazy person? That's true. Sometimes it takes a crazy person to fight a crazy person. Or crazy people.
She has the sloping brow and cranial bump into the career criminal.
Sir, phrenology was dismissed as quackery 160 years ago.
Of course you'd say that. You have the brain pan of a stagecoach tilter.
How do you feel about luciferase?
Luciferase.
Luciferase. And how this person says it's a form of radiation.
At least they know that it's an enzyme.
What's an illuminated enzyme? What's an illuminated enzyme?
Oh, luciferase is just an enzyme that allows, it basically fluoresces, so you can basically...
You shine a light on it and it'll...
It fluoresces itself.
Oh.
So if you... people use luciferase to tag other things. So if there's luciferase present, it will fluoresce.
Gotcha. Daddy Sume says, I return with 30 bits. This person saying, in response to the FDA telling you not to take horse or cow medicine, let people have easy access to the human version and they will stop it. So there are approved human uses for ivermectin. Oh gosh. Ivermectin. Thank you. Ivermectin.
No, I'm just saying it weird for fun.
Ivermectin.
Yeah, ivermectin.
So there are a handful of approved human uses.
I think if you have like a parasitic infection.
Yeah. There's a few things that it's approved for. I saw because I was looking at stuff before this, but COVID isn't one of them. Don't take it. They actually did some laboratory testing, and I was looking into the origin of this that we're going to cover in a little bit. There were laboratory tests done with ivermectin on COVID, but they weren't in vivo studies, and the dose was so high that it would hurt a human if they were to basically do the same thing, but on a scaled up.
Yeah. So that's the thing. There's oh god, I don't want to say too much because I might accidentally like reveal some stuff I'm not supposed to. But in the lab that I work in, obviously we do like embryo studies, but there's also people in the lab that look at like the effects of some specific viruses on embryo development, and like there were a couple of things that we tested to see, hey, like, does this stop this virus, not COVID, from infecting embryos, like specifically embryo cells. And you have to consider the amount that will damage like an individual. If like, even if we did an experiment and it was like, yep, this can inhibit the virus, if it's also gonna kill you, you can't say that it's a treatment.
Sure. It'd be like saying, oh, if you pour bleach on a petri dish full of COVID, it'll kill all of it, so we should all start drinking bleach. Like, it's a bad idea, because even if it were to somehow fuck up the virus, it kills you.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of saying, hey, COVID can't exist on the sun, let's all go sit on the sun.
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference. And then if you take that and they're like, oh, we sent some COVID to the surface of the sun and it died, and you take that to mean, okay, I can go do some sunbathing and it'll cure my COVID. Like, they're not equivalent.
Daddy Sume says, Baha, you're amazing and your hair looks cute.
Thank you.
Steve with the Q says, so vaxxed people can glow in the dark?
No, I don't even think that there's luciferase in the vaccine. I think that people, either they're just making shit up, or when the vaccine was being made and, like, tested, they used luciferase in the tests, but it's not in the vaccine. Hi, Lou.
Tucker White says, Vivo studies. What is this? Turned a study into a music video? That means, I'm correct. Does it just mean study in a living thing, or does it mean specifically in an adult human?
It just means within the organism.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Instead of in vitro, which is outside of the organism. And then there's ex vivo, which is something that used to be in the organism and is now not in the organism. Like if you take an embryo from being in vivo, which is where it is, to ex vivo. Hi, Lou.
Ice Queen says, make sure we go at night so it's not as hot. Hentai Skeleton says, I like Baja's Live on the Sun plan. When do we leave? Live on the Sun plan. Zandil, thanks for 14 months, says, sounds like a cure to COVID. We should yeet the COVIDiots into the sun. Muddy says, Baja is so cool. I'd love to be a biochemist one day, but I'm not smart nor rich enough to trade. So to trade school, I must go. Well, I hope you enjoy whatever trade you end up doing. Can you turn on the fan? I'm hot.
You are hot. No, they must see the kitty cat. They must see the kitty. She's the star of the show.
They can feel the presence of the cat.
No, you must see the kitty cat. And also see how many empty cans of Coke that kitty cat's mommy has on her desk.
Yeah, I need to bring a trash can up here. Or a recycle thing.
BB.
Good luck getting diseases. Meat eaters attract corona anyway. Gun had FRL. For real? Does this person think only people who eat meat catch coronavirus? What?
No idea.
Tucker White says, just 3 cans from a distance. Amateur.
Oh, no, there's...
4.
No, there's 5.
Oh, maybe I missed.
Baby! Baby!
So you're a Twitter doctor no more than the guy that invented mRNA? Wow, you're a piece of work. You can use your Googling oh, shit. Kitty, no.
Cats must tweets.
You can use your Googling fingers if you want to know if I'm a real doctor. Yes, he's one of the inventors of mRNA. Is that so hard to comprehend? Oh no, do they think mRNA was invented for the vaccine?
Yes, they do.
Oh no. What that was what a rocky 100,000 what a rocky several billion years for organisms before humans came along in 2020 and invented mRNA. I don't even understand what this is supposed to mean. The government are saying they vaccinated 88,037,283 people since January. There are only 31 million seconds in a year. Does anyone see the problem? Does he think they're all standing in one line? Like, does he think it's all one line that they're all standing in and one after the other people are being vaccinated? There's one syringe full of vaccine that's infinite, and everyone has to wait their turn. Tucker White says, obviously the kitty wants to talk shit on the bird app. I feel that. Looked away for the bit, and now the cat talks. If your loved one is facing a diagnosis of cancer, 1. Take distilled water, mix a 25-to-1 solution of sodium bicarbonate, baking soda without aluminum with molasses. How much molasses? Mix in the water. Drink. This will alkalize your blood. Cancer thrives off an acidic environment. What? If the anorexia bulimia... Oh, yeah, I read this one. This is really offensive. If the anorexia bulimia is severe enough, then they'll not be a fat person for very long. Or if they still eat enough to be fat, the disorder is not severe. Sounds like one of those things that sorts itself out.
Ew.
Yeah, basically not understanding what body dysmorphia is. Gross. Muddy says, you see, Hannah, we invented mRNA and then went back in time and shoved it up the asses of a bunch of shit in the primordial soup. Ice Queen says, my mother, my sister, and brother-in-law and I all went to the same town to get vaxxed, so of course there's only one line and it's in northern Pennsylvania. Why else do you think Peter's so scared? Nick says, Twitter has made me hate the purple cross emoji. Bummel Homestead says, I'm beginning to think defunding our school systems was a mistake. You don't say. Do you take any supplements or just rely purely on your healthy diet, or do both? If so, which one do you recommend for a plant-rich diet, please? Thanks, Emma. I take lots of vitamin D, zinc, magnesium, and I'm about to start mitochondria. What? She's gonna start taking the powerhouse of the cell as... What?
Lupine wants mommy pets. Mommy pets, please.
Kitty, stop.
No, she must.
Stop.
She's in charge of the stream now.
She's not in charge of the stream.
Yes, she is.
No, she's not.
No, don't take her away.
I'm just moving her away from the keyboard. Daddy Sume says, that sounds like Mitochondria is a porno. Hot powerhouse ladies, Mitochondria XXX.
In terms of camera, I don't know if that's in the correct position.
This guy says, San Diego is only 40% white, but over 90% of the people there standing up against vaccines and mask mandates are white. Whites are... Oh, God. Whites are being replaced by non-whites because they want a population that can be more easily controlled and is accustomed to being compliant and lorded over.
Oi.
I can handle dealing with dumbasses promoting anti-vax stuff or people being white genocide idiots. Both at once is a bit much, even for me.
Yes, I will take your paw. Give me a handshake.
Someone sent me this guy, and I forget who sent him, but whoever did, thank you. I only watched the first 5 minutes, but I love it.
I love you.
I love you too.
Would you like me to take her?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Lou. Until I get my bigger desk back, there isn't enough room. Bye, Lou. I will play with you later, okay, baby?
It's not my phone. Where is my phone? Did I not bring it up here?
I haven't seen it. Pappy Hal says, last time I personally fully saw Kitty, they were bigger. I'm happy to see they're losing weight and still cute. Yeah, we've been, monitoring the food intake better. So. And she's been exercising more. She's been playing, so hopefully, goth sacking Rome for 10. Funny. Alright, before we get into the livestock dewormer shit, someone sent me this guy, and I'm just gonna play it. I don't even know what to add to this other than my laughter, so let's go.
Allow me to put this in context.
I know he's quiet, I'm turning him up.
The left is basically like Hitler. Every time you say something that goes against their little narrative, every time you disagree with...
For the record, I looked at this guy's channel. His icon is a Southern battle flag with an Autobot inside of it. And he's like a lost cause revisionist, basically. He's like the South will rise again type, from what I can tell.
with them over the slightest, even the most mundane or the tiniest issues.
The tiniest issues, like, should we have fought to end slavery because slavery's bad?
They ostracize you. They call you the enemy of the people. They call you Hitler for disagreeing with them, for daring to think on your own. They use violence, they use fear, and they use paranoia to intimidate you. And they use lies and propaganda from the media to secure their votes for their next president, who would be king, like Obama.
Wait a minute, are people on the left calling Biden king, or are literal right-wingers calling Trump God Emperor Trump? Because on this channel, I've covered QAnon right-wingers who call Trump God Emperor Trump. But I've never heard anyone say, like, God Emperor Biden or, you know, King Biden or anything. Bitter Grin says, Optimus Prime did not die for this bullshit. Tube Man says, ah yes, the Autobots, who are well known for being racist. I mean, have you seen the Michael Bay movies? Nick says, GOP, gods of projection. Daddy Sume says, holy shit, the projecting is insane. And Muddy says, just behind the camera, there's a line of watermelons with World War I helmets on, which are German, but he doesn't know that, which he is using as his audience. Stone Corbell says, remember when Obama acted like a king and dissolved our democracy and is still ruling today? He unironically cites Obama here in a sec. It's pretty funny. Blackwing Hecate says, the South will rise again. Optimus Prime, probably.
And he who would be king is in fact the enemy. Some of you may feel that it's possible to make friends with somebody on the left, even if you disagree with them. Some of you may even think that you might get them to join your side. However unlikely, that is still a possibility, but it is very unlikely. And it is, in fact, likely that you'll probably get a milkshake thrown at you.
Oh, a milkshake! Logar, thanks for subscribing for 15 months, says, thanks for being my emotional flotation device during the pandemic. Been following since early Bible Reloaded days, but you and Jake are by far my favorite streamers. Thank you. Tube Man says, Skids and Mudflap are cultural icons. Blackwing Hecate says, Obama rules by tan suit fiat.
And here's what conservative versus liberal or socialist or just downright Democrat looks.
Those are all clearly the exact same thing. Yes. Liberal, socialist, and Democrat. All the same exact thing. You don't look stupid. Keep going.
Like. Now, as a general rule, and there are exceptions, but as a general rule, conservatives oppose abortion on moral grounds. Liberals, Democrats, either way you want to go, they push abortion. They think that they have the right to, in fact, force abortion.
Yes. Pro-choice people sure do love to force people and take away their choice. That makes sense. Tucker White says, as someone who lived his entire life in the South, I'm amazed how I only first heard about the lost cause bullshit in the last 5 years. I've never understood how anybody falls for it and buys this bullshit. Lack of education. Ice Queen says this guy looks younger than Doyle. Yeah. That's what I thought when I saw this. I'm like, oh my god, I thought Doyle was cringe.
Which is nothing more than the murder of unborn babies, the most innocent among us. And they try to get kids to tell us it's okay. They brainwash their kids and lie to their kids.
Morak says, might get a milkshake thrown at you. I've had conservatives throw much worse things at me for being trans. And Daddy Sume says, Among Us.
And say, hey, it's okay. It's a matter of health for some reason. It's healthy. For I don't know why. They don't know why either.
It's healthcare, because getting an abortion is healthcare. Glad I could clear that up. Thanks. Robert Morley with 1,000 bits says Obama had 8 years to come and get your guns. What the hell happened? The guy was incompetent.
They think it's healthy to have an abortion. Well, I'm pretty sure they know that's not, but they're trying to tell us it's healthy. That's a matter of health for the mother. They call it health care.
Yeah.
They call murdering a baby health care.
Not a baby. Moppy Mutton says, tell me you have eaten lead paint without saying so. What is lost cause? Hold on. For that Among Us meme, Daddy Sume, shame. Sorry, Daddy Sume, someone paid to time you out again. I find it funny that Daddy Sume lives by the meme in terms of, like, initially the Rick rolls and now some of the after 10,000 years I'm free. But when it becomes a meme to time him out, I think it makes him upset, and I find that kind of funny. Live by the meme, die by the meme, Daddy Sume. Oh, what's lost cause? Basically, it encompasses this idea that usually racist or just ignorant Southerners or even Northerners who have weird love for the Confederacy when they're like, oh, the Civil War wasn't about slavery. The South just wanted to secede for states' rights. Stuff like that. Basically trying to frame the Civil War as if the North was the bad guy. Tucker White says, let's say we grant this chud that abortion is murder. What's the alternative, sir? Should we force babies to be born to families that don't want them? He would say yes. He would literally say yes.
Baby. Let me tell you this. My stance on abortion, no exceptions.
Wow.
Okay, so you got raped. Now you're
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I hadn't watched this far into the video. Uh-oh. I feel like this is about to get bad.
pregnant. Congratulations. Oh, not congratulations. I'm sorry you got raped. But the baby did not rape you. The baby is not guilty for the sins of the
Not a baby.
father, and the baby deserves to live. The baby does not
Hydrate.
deserve to die like any other rapist. So it's incest. Okay, that's terrible too. That sucks. The baby's probably going to come out deformed, but the baby is not the incestuous one. The baby is a product of incest, but the baby is not guilty of it, and the baby deserves to live.
Not a baby.
And now they want to come in, after all that, after you get rid of those points, they want to come in and say, okay, so the baby has like a 2% chance of life. The mother's definitely going to die if she gives birth. The only way to save the mother's life is to terminate the baby.
Oh, when he said no exception, he meant no exceptions, even in the case that the baby's gonna die and it'll save the mom's life. Holy shit. Morak says, is this Metroid the other M? All this is talk of to baby. I've not played that one, so I don't get the joke. Robert Morley says, your uncle raped you and now you're pregnant. Sorry, you're stuck like Chuck. Ew. Dr. White says, personally, if we did a cradle-to-grave nanny state shit, where we gave everybody enough money to live a basic life, then I'd be fine with outlawing abortion. Now, what's the chance that this guy would support that part? See, I still disagree with that, because pregnancy takes a pretty fucking terrible toll on the body of the pregnant person. So that's still a thing either way. And if someone doesn't want to go through that, I don't think they should be forced to. Simple Cat Girl says, dudes, forcing people to have the baby doesn't work for anyone. Yeah. Muddy says, I want to make a joke, but this fucker starts saying dumb stuff. Now the mood isn't right. Yeah.
Here's what I say about that. The mother's already got years in. The mother has already lived at least part of her life. At the very
I could see this guy being like, oh, she's 27 anyway. She was just about to hit 30. Women are useless after 30 anyway.
least, the baby has not yet. And if there's a 2% chance, even if there's a fraction of a half...
Muddy says, or Nick says at Muddy, I don't get it. Tucker White says, I don't either, but I think it's a way you could bridge the divide on abortion between the left and the right. No! No. That's like saying, we need to bridge the divide between people who want to give gay people rights and not have gay people have rights. No! No! The solution to every issue is not meeting in the middle. Sometimes people are just fucking wrong.
0.5% chance that that baby can live. That baby deserves that chance. The baby has the right to live.
Not a baby. No. Moppy Mutton says, if we adopt socialist policies like healthcare, education, and basic necessities, that would hurt white supremacist recruitment. Probably.
Baby has the right to take that chance. Because it's still a chance. Like, a percentage of a 0.5% of a chance is still a chance that that baby might live. And that baby could grow up to be the next George Washington.
It could be a fucking Hitler. I always hate these arguments. Here's the fact. Most people who are born do not grow up to be George Washington or someone you like a lot, I guess. Let's do a different one. Let's say the baby would grow up to be fucking not George Washington, Mr. Rogers. Everyone loves Mr. Rogers, or Bob Ross or something, whatever. And then someone else says, oh, he grew up to be Hitler. Most people don't grow up to be Mr. Rogers, and most people don't grow up to be Hitler. Most people grow up to be miserable adults in soul-crushing dead-end jobs who hate their lives. That's probably what the baby's gonna grow up to be. It's irrelevant. It's a complete red herring to the argument, and I hate it.
Or the next Abraham Lincoln. That's exactly what the left does not want. Not only do they not want Americans being born, true Americans who love their country, who...
True Americans. You guys hear a whistling noise? But it's like really high-pitched. Maybe only a dog could hear it. Cool Cat says, what if the baby grows up to make cheese too, though? Cheese too. Okay, that baby gets a pass. Bumble Homestead says, so he's giving all his money to provide prenatal care for people around the world, right? To improve the baby's chances, right? Eris Malel says, I hate the conflation of life and potential life. Yep, I missed your bits. Sorry. No. People misheard. Obama was going to take away nomadic people who live in the Asiatic region between the 4th and 5th centuries. The bad guys in Mulan. Oh, Huns. Hentai Skeletons says, my thing with abortion is you don't owe that fetus your time and resources. Philosophy Tube has a great video on this. Tiger White says, how much do you want to bet this guy stands outside an abortion clinic and tells a woman getting an abortion that, quote, if you don't go through with the abortion and give birth, I'll be more than happy to take the child off your hands and raise it myself.
who love where they come from. They also want to keep the population of the planet to a certain level. They want to exterminate the existing population to cut down on what there is. They're basically Thanos.
Tucker White says, how much do you want to bet the guy stands up... Oh, read that one, sorry. Muddy says, what if the mother is a super important person who dies in labor and their son is just Greg, the normal guy? Sure, this might not be the best example, but I still feel people should be able to abort if they choose. They should.
They think it's okay to murder because the Earth is overpopulated, which...
No, you're completely mischaracterizing the pro-choice argument. It has nothing to do with overpopulation. Nick says, did this Confederate go to bat for just imply Lincoln was a good guy? Abraham Lincoln is a complicated historical figure like all historical figures. Okay? If we're gonna actually go based on relative to other presidents, I think Lincoln was better than most. Ice Queen says, FSM, damn, he's on to us. We're Captain Genocide.
It is. There's too many cities to accommodate the population. There's damn few small towns left because the small towns are being turned into bigger cities. The beautiful buildingless landscapes of America is being turned into cities because of...
The vast majority of land in America is still unoccupied. What the fuck is this?
Of how many people we got. And there's...
Yeah, you know how our planet looks like Coruscant and it's literally just one big city and there's not a single tree? Oh wait, that's not true? Weird.
Illegal aliens flooding in from the border.
This guy is just like a greatest hits of dumb things he's heard from other right-wing idiots. It's clear he doesn't have any opinions of his own. He's just trying to confidently recite things he's heard other people say. It's kind of sad. Zandil says, what an utter dweeb. I would guess if someone told him he had to die so someone else could get his heart, the operation only having a 2% chance of success, he would be totally okay with it based on his galaxy brain take on fetuses that threaten the mother's life. Blackwing Hecate says, Earth is not an ecumenopolis. I assume that just means like a super duper city that encompasses an entire planet or something.
And abortion is their little, it's one of their fixes to that problem. Which, by the way, abortion was meant to kill off the entire black ethnic population.
What?
By, I think her name was Margaret Swagger or something. I can't exactly remember clearly the name, but I remember what she said clearly.
This is a man who owns several Confederate flags, by the way, pretending to care about the black community.
She said that It is to take out every single black man, woman, and child on this planet.
Yeah, I don't think she said that. Tucker White says, so wait, is this Chud admitting that overpopulation is an actual problem? I don't know.
It is to stop blacks from having babies because she was racist and she thought they were inferior.
I don't know about that lady. I know the right has made claims about her being racist. She might have been racist. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. It's fucking irrelevant to me. I don't care if the person who founded Planned Parenthood was racist. It was like the 30s. Everyone was fucking racist. It's shitty and that's not okay. But it wouldn't surprise me. That has nothing to do with the functioning of Planned Parenthood or any other reproductive health care provider today. It's irrelevant. It's completely fucking irrelevant.
That's evil.
Colston says that quote is fake and Margaret Sanger wasn't even for abortion anyway. Oh, okay.
It was started. This whole Roe v. Wade.
Muddy says, I feel like this is just as dumb as people getting mad at 70-plus-year-old fetus cells that have duplicated so much they may as well be known as just another patch of stem cells that medicine is sometimes tested on. Daddy Sume says, after 10,000 years I'm free, time to conquer Earth. Simple Cat Girl says, my dude, my guy, I will fight you about the forced sterilization of black population. I will wreck you.
Wade thing was started because some evil racist bitch didn't like people of a different skin color.
You own multiple Confederate flags.
That ain't right. We don't choose who we are. We don't choose what family we come from. We don't choose our bloodline. We don't choose what color we are.
Daddy Sume says, you missed my donation message, by the way, Hannah. Oh, I'm sorry. Must have been a while ago. God damn it. Daddy Sume, 6 minutes ago, said, I'm not mad. I think it's funny as hell people are wasting points on me. I just want something to deserve it first. The fact that all these people tie me out means that they all love me. Oof. That's a cope. Tucker White says, even if that Margaret Sanger quote was true, that doesn't make Planned Parenthood racist any more than Coca-Cola being created by a former Confederate soldier. Yeah, agreed. Ice Queen says, do his parents know he has such a dirty mouth? Zandel says, I need Jake to shove this boy in a locker in Minecraft. Hentai Skeleton says, but you sure chose to be a Transformer Nazi. Bumble Homestead uses a timeout and just says, you know who. Bye. Oh, chat.
What we are is mortal men and women. That's what we are. We're human beings. We're made in the image of God, but with the human nature of sin. But every single one of us, as a baby, deserves to be born, has the right to be born, and is endowed by our Creator, the Holy God,
doesn't exist,
with inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the right to the pursuit of happiness.
Are you quoting the Declaration of Independence?
That those
Because that's not a legal document.
rights can only be taken away if you commit a crime worthy of punishment, worthy of a jail sentence, on your own doing. Nobody else is doing. What they're doing with abortion when it comes to...
Paul the Potato with 3 months says, I am a potato.
Oh, she got raped. That's not the baby being punished for something that the baby did. That's
It's a Boy Scout shirt. If it is, that doesn't surprise me. I knew one Boy Scout in high school, and he was working on getting Eagle Scout. And he was, like, one of the only people in my high school who was super homophobic. He just thought gay people were disgusting, and trans people, but trans issues weren't as much of a thing back when I was in high school. They weren't talked about as much, I should say. Of course, they were still a thing. But yeah. Tucker White says, just a reminder that all of this comes from a guy who propagates lost cause bullshit. He did not come out as gay, no. Blackwing Hecate says, I was a Boy Scout, but now I'm not a boy anymore.
the baby being punished for something that some asshole did when he probably got drunk when he done it.
Why is he defending an imaginary rapist in this hypothetical scenario by making excuses for the hypothetical rapist and saying, well, he was probably drunk? Like, what the fuck does that mean? What? It's not even a real person you're defending. You made up a fake rapist in your brain and then made an excuse for him, which you didn't have to do. What are you doing? Profane Priestess says, no such thing as natural rights. Rights are a social construct, my dude. I agree. Muddy says, I don't usually make fun of other people's art because most of the time they're trying their best, but those drawings in the back of the art that Ray represent his brain.
The baby didn't do it. The baby did not cause it. And the baby has the right to live. The baby does not deserve to die because the mother was raped. And I don't even call it a mother. When you go through abortion...
Ooh! Okay. I've been trying to think of a name for this guy since we started. From now on, when we cover this guy, Alabama Jones.
You are a monster. You're...
Raven says, he has to do that because reality has a liberal bias.
The mother, so-called mother, is doubly a monster.
Tucker White says, I hope this guy's a Poe, otherwise he's a bigger sack of shit than I thought.
Even double from the guy that's actually doing the abortion, because that is her baby, her flesh and blood, that is her child, and she is going to have it murdered. She is going to extinguish his spark because she doesn't want him.
The Allspark. Tucker White says, Chudimus Prime. I like Alabama Jones. Deceptichud's not bad. Alabama Jones, the Deceptichud. That's pretty good. Yeah, let's go with that. Alabama Jones, the Deceptichud. Okay. Stormfox says, I live in Alabama, and that's fair.
I'm thinking about running for president because of things like this.
Yes! Alabama Jones 2024!
If I become president, I can guarantee you this. I will stand up for those babies, and I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of these United States. And the Constitution gives those babies the right to live.
The Supreme Court disagrees. I don't know how to break it to you, but constitutionality is not only determined by what is directly in the Constitution, but also the myriad of Supreme Court decisions and other court rulings that have happened since the writing and ratification of the Constitution. And as it turns out, women have the right to an abortion, according to the Supreme Court, which has the right to interpret the Constitution.
Abortion is murder. Murder is illegal, and it is unconstitutional to state in the law. The law is very clear. The law is not abortion. Abortion...
Yeah, you have to be at least 35 to be the president. Killjoy says he looks like a Confederate Rick Grimes. You at least have to be 35 before the date of inauguration, I believe. So you could theoretically run if you were like 34, but you were going to be 35 by the time of the inauguration. Muddy says, and then he wins because the timeline is fucked.
Is illegal. It's an illegal yet sanctioned act of aggression and murder and genocide.
I don't know how to tell this guy, but illegal and sanctioned are like antithetical. You can't have something that is illegal but also sanctioned by the government. Then it's not illegal.
And I will outlaw that. I will make sure. I will take it to the Supreme Court. I'll do whatever I have to do within the bounds of the Constitution, of the law. Of the law. To get rid of this evil, horrible act of abortion. AKA child murder. And pedophiles? Oh yeah. Let's make them part of the LGBT. Come on, dude!
No one is saying that! What are you talking about? What? Robert Morley says he looks like a Nazi scoutmaster. What the fuck are you talking about?
The pedophiles, they rape children, and many pedophiles, like John Wayne Gacy, murder those children. Yes, John Wayne Gacy was actually a pedophile.
Tucker White says actually got the perfect name for him, Chud Bryant. I don't get it. Zandil says I just noticed he has a sword as his hilt. At his hilt. I can't even anymore.
He wasn't just some guy that murdered college, because he was actually a pedophile.
Does he know? Like, no one in the LGBT community that's ever taken seriously is like, yes, let's let fucking pedophiles into the community. No! Absolutely not! Are you fucking kidding me? He's trying so hard to, like, lean on his fucking sword. Baha says, Hannah, you and chat need to see this TikTok. It's wild. Alright, quick break.
Grandchildren were homeschooled last year. My
Yeah, turn it up a little bit.
grandchildren were homeschooled last year, and they will not be coming back because of this sexual education curriculum and mask. Now, I know that you cannot stop sand that is blowing through a cyclone fence. So it's mere physics.
Blackwing Hecate says, as someone who has worn a sword, it's not nearly as easy to rest your hands on it as you would think. Muddy says, I can't speak for the boys, but the girls division in my local troop is pretty cool. Also, that's not how you treat a sword. I must save that poor blade.
We're talking biology, okay? I'm not making it up. A virus versus a bacterial cell. So masking is not appropriate. And I do say that, you know, the body with the penis, the body with the vagina, you know. Are you kidding me? It's called male and female. And a pediatrician or whoever obstetrician delivering a baby does not determine the sexual orientation of that baby. God does. So I wear the armor of the Lord, and I am here to say that He is everywhere. He's here, and He brought me here. I didn't come here on my own accord. I am a vessel, and I wear the armor of God. Jesus. Now, I want to share with you, no matter what your religious beliefs, this is a melting pot. We are a country of many races, colors. I actually am 1.4% Nigerian African. I'm a sister, okay? Now, I have to tell you, my
Guys, it's cool. She's 1% Nigerian African. That's cool. Simple Cat Girl says, I find that I hate using this argument, but even if abortion is illegal, people are still going to find ways to off the fetus. Like my dude, people have been using many means to get rid of fetuses. Abortion is just a safe way that guaranteed the survival of the pregnant person. Yep. TubeMan642 says, why is his camera quality so low? I don't know. It looks like he stole Chris Chan's camera from like 2010. Did she say I'm a sister? Oh god, I didn't hear that part. Oh no. Ugh. Hentai Skeleton says, I see your armor of the Lord and raise you the oversized sweatshirt of Satan. Someone timed out Daddy Sume again. Bye, Daddy Sume. Oh, that's too good. Muddy says, I don't like that argument because sometimes animals transition in the wild. Like there's a fish that becomes females as it ages, or hens will turn into roosters if their ovaries are damaged. Go back in a couple seconds. I will. Pappy Hal says, as a former Girl Guide UK, I assume that's like a Girl Scout, it made me smile inside when I discovered that the guide law, which was more like things the guides went by, not literal law, was changed from serving God to serving fellow man to be inclusive of religion or lack thereof. That's awesome.
My grandchildren were homeschooled last year, and they will not be coming back because I want to share with you, no matter what your religious beliefs, this is a melting pot. We are a country of many races, colors. I actually am 1.4% Nigerian African. I'm a sister, okay? Now I have to tell you.
Oh no! She's a sister! Oh no! No, 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 Chris Malel says, at Daddy Sume, a day may come when the channel points of subs fail, when we forsake our timeouts and break all bonds of viewership. But it is not this day!
As for illegal immigration, which is alien invasion, you see, every time Hollywood makes a movie
People immigrating is clearly an invasion. Yep.
about aliens coming here to Earth,
Is he about to compare Independence Day to people trying to come to America so they can have jobs and feed their families?
and as in real life, the government would respond with tanks, with bombs, with guns, with bayonets.
Okay, so first of all, he's fetishizing war really hard. And secondly, he would like the United States government to go to the border and murder people who are trying to cross over. Illegal immigration is not a capital crime, my friend.
Because an alien invasion is a hostile force coming for us, for our land, for our country. It's exactly the same thing with those invaders in Mexico. They come over here. They try to manipulate the system. They take advantage. They rape and they murder our people.
Oh, there it is. But if you do get raped, then that's on you, lady, and you gotta have that baby. But also, yeah, that's just racist. Muddy says, I probably have at least one black ancestor, so my opinion is always correct. I'm also a sister. Typing that last part hurt me. I apologize. Yeah, that's fucking bad.
And
Fun fact, undocumented immigrants statistically commit fewer crimes than actual citizens. Because as it turns out, when you're here, and if you get caught, you might get deported, you're less likely to commit crime. Because you don't want to get caught. Fun fact.
they drag down our economy. And you're going to call them asylum seekers and say they have the right to come here because they're looking for asylum? No, they're coming here because they want to be in the greatest country on earth, but they don't want to follow any of her laws. And they rape...
What?! This is just racist. Holy shit. Sorry, I was getting back to Jake about something. So he legit just thinks every undocumented immigrant who crosses the border is like a rapist? That's fucked up. I expected someone who owns multiple Confederate flags to be way less racist than this. Nick says, so where is this video for science? The one of the lady? There's a link earlier in the chat. Pappy Hal says, we actually celebrated other countries' holidays like Chinese New Year and EID. I don't know what that is. Through education, and the leaders invited someone who gave us neat henna tattoos. It was fun and educated the girls on other cultures. Eid? E-I-D. Id? Eid. Eid? Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Morak says, I'm 1/6 Lakota, and I constantly second-guess my right to the ethnic identifier since my grandma didn't pass any cultural stuff outside of a few stories. Strawberry for Wi-Fi says, undocumented immigrants pay taxes without representation. Literally what Chuds like this love believing about the American Revolution. Literally what Chuds like this love believing... Literally what Chuds like this love believing about the American Revolution. Ah, gotcha. Tucker White says, just a reminder that 1, illegal immigrants don't by and large come via the border. They come legally on a plane through work visas and just never go back. 2, illegal immigration is a, quote, problem, unquote, because of giant megacorporations. Muddy says, I have the power of God and Fox News on my side. This kid probably, and then Profane Priestess says, no, immigrants do not damage the economy. All the available sociological and anthropological data suggests that immigration is excellent both culturally and economically.
Our women and our children, and they murder them. Illegal aliens do that all the time. Sometimes not on purpose. Like the Kate Stanley killer. She would be alive today if we enforced our borders. She would be alive today if we acted on our borders the way a country should react when it comes to our borders. Her parents would not be grieving. Her grandparents would not be grieving. If she was still alive, or if she even survived the shooting, she would tell you this. I'm certain she would tell you this. We need borders.
I'm going to start skipping through this because we're only 11 minutes into an hour-long video, and I'm not sitting watching this dude for an hour.
Or military. Some will, but it won't be enough to get the job done. And we don't even own an ounce of gold in the US of A Treasury. You know that? We're
The United States has a gold reserve. What?
so deep in debt. We don't own an ounce of gold.
The United States absolutely... Have you heard of Fort Knox? It wouldn't surprise me if at this point some of it is as other places, but the United States absolutely holds gold as an asset. We happen to be on a fiat currency like the vast majority of modern nations because we don't live in the 20th century. Even, honestly, for like half of the 20th century, we were on a fiat currency. We don't live in the 19th century. We don't have to back up our currency with gold.
We don't.
Pappy Hal says pronounced Eid. It's the Islamic version of Christmas, usually celebrated twice a year, and I was told it's based on the moon. Anyone correct me if I'm wrong on something? Oh, okay. I didn't know about it. Ice Queen says, fucking chuds and their obsession with the gold standard. I know, right?
Don't. That's why Social Security keeps being raised. The age to which you could take it out keeps being raised.
That more has to do with the fact that rich people aren't paying their fair share of taxes.
50, 60, 70.
Darker White says, FYI, gold has no intrinsic value, just what we say it has. All currency has no inherent value. I know, I've talked about that before. That's why I find it so funny when they're like, the end of the world's coming, so I'm stockpiling gold. And it's like, you're probably better off stockpiling seeds and farm equipment. No one's going to want your shiny metal when they're starving. What are you doing? Nick says, speaking of gold, has anyone seen Terrence K. Williams? I've been avoiding him. He just doesn't have any... Like, he's just the same thing over and over and over.
Eventually it'll go up to 80.
Who's the Autobot dork? This is, Alabama Jones, the Chudcepticon, as I have deemed him.
Because they don't have a lot of money. Because the government is horrible at managing anything whatsoever. Anything. The government is horrible at that stuff.
I find this interesting, too, because this video came out in 2019, May of 2019. So at this point, Trump was president. Wait, no. Yeah, Trump was president. I had to think for a second. I was like, wait, what year is it? No, yeah, Trump was president at this point. So is this guy not a Trump supporter, even though he has every opinion of a typical Trump supporter? Is he like a libertarian? Confederate? I don't know.
Especially when it comes to managing your tax dollars. Social Security, they take it out.
But that's an Autobot's logo, not a Decepticon on his flag. Shake my head, Hannah. I know what the Autobot logo looks like. He doesn't seem like an Autobot to me. He seems like a Decepticon. Hiding as an Autobot. Deceptively.
They take money from Social Security, and they put it to wherever they think that it needs to go, and then they replace it whenever other money comes in.
Darker White says, in the Mad Max world, that Chuds similar to Chud Bryant here say they're all here for. I'm pretty sure food and water will carry more value than gold and currency. Morok says, in Fallout, water became the primary currency in the Nevada desert since it was so hard to come by, but then eventually people got tired of lugging water everywhere and just started using bottle caps to represent water. Yeah. That's kind of how currency came about in the real world, too, because people used to barter, but then obviously it becomes a pain in the ass every time you want to go to the market to bring a chicken or something to barter, or even eggs or whatever you have to barter for other goods. So, socially, everyone sort of agrees, okay, this is the currency, there's a certain amount of it, someone's in charge of minting more, and this stands for this much value. It's just easier.
But what if the money don't come in? You're screwed. Besides that, Social Security is not going to last long. The way it is now, they're going to keep raising the age. You're not even going to live to see that money. With the way it's going.
All you have to do is tax the wealthy more equitably, and it would be fine. right-wingers and right-wing libs have been dismantling Social Security for decades because they hate it, because it's an effective social program.
And even if you do, it's so badly managed that...
Muddy says, I hate saying this because it sounds like I have a black friend, so I can't be racist to me, but I grew up in black areas and went to mostly black schools the majority of the time, so I honestly don't get how someone can be this racist. All of the people of color, black or not, that I interacted with frequently were cool as hell. Yeah.
Social Security is just going to completely run out.
It's not mismanaged, it's sabotaged. Alright, let's skip ahead again.
But let's get rid of these restrictions and these things that can disqualify you easily. Because these little things here, these will not hamper your ability on a field of battle.
Oh, is he saying he's going to get rid of certain restrictions on joining the military? That just makes me think he tried to join the military and then he failed the psych exam or something. Which I imagine would be very difficult to do.
You had a surgery when you were a kid.
That's a very specific hypothetical. Did you have a surgery when you were a kid that is preventing you from being enlisted in the military? I hope so, because you're a crazy person, and I don't want you anywhere near a battlefield.
Okay. Are you physically fit? Are you physically strong? Can you do all the drills and all the tests? Can you train like any other man? Are you at all hampered by that previous surgery? No? Come right on in. The current situation is, hey, you had the surgery when you were 2 years old? I'm sorry, you can't come in. You can't come in because you had that surgery. Oh, it's not hampering your mobility? Your brain's in the right place and nothing's wrong with you? But all you have is like a little scar from that surgery? You still had that surgery. You can't come in. I would change that.
Daddy Sume quotes Bat Benatar and says, love is a battlefield.
I would make it more available to the common citizen to join the United States military because we need soldiers. And we need them.
We clearly don't have enough. We have the world's largest we have the world's largest, I believe, Air Force and Navy. We have the most, oh gosh, what are they called? Why am I brain farting today? Aircraft carriers, submarines, nuclear submarines, etc. We don't have the most actual soldiers. I think China does because they have such a high population. What's he on about? I don't know. Random right-wing talking points. Blackwing Hecate says, this is very service guarantees citizenship.
Them now.
Sky Comet Fallen says, I will change it. Is he running for office? Please, dear God, say no. He says he wants to run for president.
And somebody, please explain to me why we are not spending as much as we should on infrastructure, on our roads, on our borders. Why are we... Abortion is illegal. I mentioned that, right? Now, we used to have Articles of Confederation before the Constitution. During the war with the British, we had Articles of Confederation. Those articles were found to be weak, useless. They were not able to run a country. They were not strong enough to run a country. So we went for a representative republic. We went for a federal union. That federal government, that has a lot of power. A lot more power than a confederacy would. A lot more power than the second confederacy in the war between the states.
Oh no, is he gonna talk about this shit? Oh no. Daddy Sume says, because it's all going to the military, you dumb fuck.
That federal government had power. A lot less than what it has now, but more than enough to get the job done. More than enough to keep the country running and afloat and to keep the people protected. More than enough power for that. Why are we using the power of the federal government to give foreign aid to our enemies? Foreign aid to people that are neutral to us one way or the other.
Because power in the world these days doesn't necessarily come only at the barrel of a gun. Diplomacy is done financially. I don't know if you know that. But foreign relations is not about pointing guns at people, or at least it shouldn't be, about pointing guns at people and saying, do what we want. Because when you do that constantly, and it's all stick, no carrot, Then you have people who come and fuck you up because they don't like having a gun pointed at them. But even if you do have kind of a gun pointed at them and you go, all right, but here's a little carrot. Here's money. We're going to help fund some stuff for you. Will you let us have a military base in your country? We'll give you such and such funding for this other thing. It's almost like he doesn't know what he's talking about. Dr. White says, okay, in 30 seconds, Chud Bryant went from infrastructure to abortion to the Articles of Confederation. Profane Preacher says, because even the most military philosophers agreed the best war is the one you never have to fight. And Raven says, don't forget imperialism.
Foreign aid to people that hate us, that like us, whatever. Why are we using the power of the federal government to do that? When our borders are crumbling, our infrastructure was crumbling until President Trump came along, and there are people murdering our children. Infants, inalienable American rights are being alienated. And it is protected by the police force. Why? It's illegal. But everybody thinks...
Is he also ACAP? That's kind of funny. Muddy says, now that I've been listening to him for a while, he kind of looks and sounds like one of my IRL friends, but slightly younger and with without long hair.
Safe, legal, and rare is not safe.
This guy reminds you of Christine Chan. The camera quality along with the long, dramatic rant. Yeah, I see it.
Every single time you do it, there is blood on your hands. Every single time.
Stone Crow Bell says he seriously reminds me of me when I was a little child who only knew my parents' politics and I tried to espouse political opinions. Profane Priestess says, then I guess they aren't inalienable if we can alienate them then.
It may not necessarily be the monster you call mother that's dying, it's the baby that's dying. And legal, it is outlawed. It is illegal, yet it is protected. And rare, it's happening all the time. Oh, hey, we got drunk and we had sex and she's pregnant now, but we don't want to keep the baby. They go and murder that baby. It's not safe, it's not legal, and it is not...
It is safe and it is legal.
Rare.
I don't care how rare it is.
It is deadly, it is illegal, and it is fucking happening all the time. What's the right way I can put this out to you? It is common. Not only in the Federal Union is it common, it also happens in the Southern Confederacy.
Does he still refer to the South as the Southern Confederacy, even though the Confederacy hasn't been a thing for over 100 years? The Confederacy lasted like 4 years, guys. Was it 5 or 4? I don't remember. It's either 4 or 5. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is a longer-lasting piece of American culture than the Confederacy. Get over it.
It happens in Dixie. It happens out west. It happens up north. It happens in the
Bless you.
east. It happens in... There are some states. There are a couple of states that limit abortion greatly. And there could be even a couple of states that have it outlawed entirely.
No, that's unconstitutional. The Supreme Court ruled that. Which is why a lot of these abortion bans that try to skate around banning abortion because they're not allowed to do that, by just restricting it to the point that it is virtually illegal, they usually get struck down over a long enough period of time.
But by and large, it is happening all over the place. By and large, there are babies being murdered every single day. Millions of lives lost. And those millions of lives could have been the very presidents that we need to get us out of our current social mess. Those millions of lives could have been the soldier that is protecting you and your...
Don't abort those babies. We need them for our neo-imperialist war machine. They need to die for Halliburton, not so you can live your life freely. Dr. White says, citation needed.
Children at home. that is putting his life on the line to defend.
Alright, I'm gonna skip ahead more.
If you love this country and you love the ideals that she was founded on, if you love personal liberty and personal rights, then you are my brother. You are my friend. And I will stand up next to you and I will defend this nation. If you are not.
Sorry, Morok. Morok says, he reminds me of my Eagle Scout cousin from Ohio, Michigan. I mean, it looks like he's an Eagle Scout.
If you are one who intends to change the Constitution or tear it up, if you are one...
The Constitution has changed a lot of times, dumbass. What do you think the amendments are? Your rights are literally amendments.
One who intends to get rid of the Electoral College because you lost one election.
The Electoral College is fucking garbage. Nick says, I bet he thinks LGBTQ plus people should be banned from the military, though. Profane Priestess says, I do love the ideals this nation was founded on. That's why I'm a leftist. And Raven says, you are my friend!
If you are one who supports the murder of babies.
Muddy says his parents are going to walk in. Hey, honey, can you come down? I'm trying to... Or can you keep it down? I'm trying to watch TV with your dad.
If you are one who opposes America defending her borders.
Daddy Sube says, stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Square MF says, Hannah, how is it that whenever I turn into Chud Watch, you've somehow found the most heinous Chud possible? It's honestly impressive. I know, I'm getting pretty good at it.
And hates anybody who agrees with defending the borders. If you are one who calls your political adversaries Hitler because he does not agree with your little textbook, you
started this video by calling all Democrats Nazis. What? We're at 35:20. Let's go back. He just said, like, don't call people Hitler. Let's go back, okay? The beginning.
allow me to put this in context to you. The left is basically like Hitler.
Okay, now let's go back where we were, which was like 35 something.
Political adversaries Hitler the borders. If you are one who calls your political adversaries Hitler because he does not agree with your little textbook, you are the enemy.
Alabama Jones! What are you doing? Will Cal, timeout Daddy Sume for quoting Glenn Greenwood. Okay. And Adria Staley has a hydrate.
You may call us the enemy. You may call us Nazis. You may call us fascists. Whatever you want to call us. You are the fascists.
I didn't even have to go back to the beginning of the video. He just contradicted himself within the same, like, span of a minute. What? Blackwing Hecate says we're not the ones wearing a brown shirt, jackass. Robert Morley says, stop clouding the issue with facts. He's on a roll. Tucker White with a link.
Shut up, shut up, shut up! Jesus Christ, man, what the hell is wrong with you? Please, just shut up!
People who go out in the streets and block traffic because you're not happy with the election results.
Oh, that didn't age well, did it? Muddy says, your chuds have angered the German 2 streams in a row. Just a joke, of course. I love being here. Moppy Mutton says, I bet he gets lost in McDonald's playsets.
The people who go around and target and harass and beat up women and children because their husbands disagree with you openly.
What? What are you talking about?
The left goes after the families of their enemies, not just their enemies. They go after their families.
What is he even referencing?
They beat up women and children. They beat up those who are weaker than them. And they run when somebody that's even close to a match to them comes along to stand against them.
How old is this video? This is from May 2019.
Hey, I'm with Antifa. I'm gonna beat you with my skateboard because I don't agree with a political opinion, or because I'm unhappy about the election results. You're just random guys. I'm gonna beat you up because you're weaker than me. Oh,
He just said he's weaker than Antifa. That's interesting. Moppy Mutton says, like the Proud Boys did last weekend in Portland. Bumble Homestead says, didn't Trump say it would be fine to bomb terrorist families? He did.
wait. There's this guy that's coming. He's going to defend this guy that I just beat up with my skateboard.
Thrashmio says, don't beat people with skateboards. Use flagpoles instead.
And he is a little bit bigger than me. And I don't...
Alright, I'm gonna start skipping ahead again.
And we have to put that path back on track. You want to outlaw prayer in school? That's unconstitutional. People...
It's literally unconstitutional to force people to pray in school. No one is banned from praying in school. If you're a student or a teacher in school and you want to pray, you are allowed to do it. What you cannot do is, as a teacher, force students to pray or anything along those lines. You can't teach people religion in schools in a way... You can teach people about religion in a clinical, historical, sociological sense. Like, this is this religion, and this is what people of this religion believe. But you're not allowed to say, this religion is true, and I believe this, so you should too. You're not allowed to proselytize. Like, period. Norm Can Shoot says, 15-year-old Confederate Autobot Indiana Jones is the most confusing cosplay I've ever seen. Raven says, Glenn's Intercept actually came out with a good article on how news is trying to drum up consent to stay in Afghanistan. Don't hurt me. I've seen some of the fucking headlines. They're disgusting.
have the right to pray.
I saw one that was like, Afghanistan has a huge lithium deposit that now no one has access to. It's like, okay, so? Just because there's something somewhere in a different country that billionaires want, or even that consumers want through means of it being something that is used in consumer devices, doesn't mean you then use the military to invade that country to take it by force. Not how that's supposed to work. It would be like if I was a kid and I was like about to punch a kid in the face because they had a toy I wanted to play with. And I get in trouble and I go like, but he had the toy I wanted! Like, it doesn't matter. You still don't get to punch him in the face and take it. Muddy says, I agree most of the time that you shouldn't beat the hell out of some people, but I could totally... Nope, not reading that. MW1642, thanks for gifting a sub. Nick says, okay, time to do some SM6470 star. Wish me luck. Good luck. So long, Gay Bowser. Oh, I did pretty good at that. Tucker White says, this dork is a textbook example of what happens when you take bullying out of schools. Austin Rosenberg says, love this.
What am I gonna do?
Oh, sweetie, it's okay. You have options.
Just kidding, I already scheduled the appointment.
Okay.
I am one conservative bitch.
I used to be
Pray wherever they are. It's not only that,
Yeah, you just shouldn't, it's okay, Muddy. You shouldn't post any threats of violence, even really jokingly, and I'm certainly not gonna read them on stream.
it is taking out our one ally, our one true ally in this world. Almighty God, who has had America's hand since the beginning, who has held her hand through the war with the British, who
Held their hand through the slave trade.
has held her hand through the Great Depression, who has held her hand through the Nazi onslaught.
Wow, you skipped all the, like, bad stuff, didn't ya? Slave trade, non-white people not having rights, women not having rights, the Trail of Tears, and the general mistreatment of the natives. Really? Okay. That skipped a lot. Amazing Physicist says, nailed it, Hannah. I'm a teacher and we have a moment of silence prayer spot every day. No issue, and I'm in a right-wing county. Yeah.
Lot.
Just Belmont, thanks for 5 months, says, Hannah, you always find the best lol cow chuds. Thank you. This one is actually sent to me on Twitter, so thank you to whoever sent that to me.
And who continues to hold her hand to this day, but is losing grip. America is losing the grip of the hand of God, because she is turning away from God.
Good. Oh, does he have a gun? Is he gonna do a gun thing? I gotta see him be a super badass.
And those drugs come over here.
Sky Comet Fallen says, this man should never breed. The human race can't take any more stupid in the gene pool.
Here, to our country, to our border states, to our inner cities. They create dope addicts. And they create a people who cannot defend themselves. And they create a people who can only think about getting their next fix.
Drug addiction didn't exist until Mexico. Clearly. That seems like a super inconvenient place to put your gun. That seems like a terrible holster. I feel like in an emergency situation, if you're the kind of person who wants to pull a gun, you're not going to have time to do it if you have it in that.
See? See this? This is what awaits you if you invade our country. This little thing here is the great equalizer.
Is this a cringe stream? I think it is, whether I want it to be or not. Raven says, Crowder chic is what I'm calling this kid's drip. Sky Comet Fallen says, on behalf of a friend of mine who was devastated that she had to have an abortion to save her life, this man can go fuck himself with a cactus.
It's called the great equalizer because, say, a woman or a child is being attacked by somebody with a knife. This somebody happens to be a fully grown adult male who has a good 100 pounds on his heart.
What if a fetus is robbing someone? What if a fetus is holding a grown man at knife point?
Target.
It's just a hypothetical, but I need to know the moral framework we're working with. Moppy Mutton says, in Cornholio's voice, are you threatening me? Is that what Cornholio sounds like? Muddy says, oh god, I can't talk now. Oh fuck. Muddy says, yes, Mexico, which rose from the ocean, cocaine in its arms, and introduced drug addiction to the world. Eris Malel says, I hope he tries to quick draw with those garden gloves on. RMG0006 says, I'm from Alabama, and I have to say that I'm offended by this guy's nasally accent. Also, thank you, Hannah, for making this shit year and a half more tolerable. Well, thank you so much for all the bits. I appreciate it. Just Belmont says, the Zygote Rebellion. EO80 says, it's the great equalizer because it allows infants to kill their parents. Tucker White says, yeah, let's paint the picture exactly what happens. If someone holds a gun to Chud Bryant here, he pisses his pants, screams like a frightened schoolgirl, shits his pants, and gets the hell out of Dodge.
This target cannot defeat him in hand-to-hand combat.
Alright, I'm gonna skip ahead.
Shooting somebody up. Because you yourself are going to get shot for it. You promise change, but it never comes. They keep voting for you because they want change. Number 2, they want more money. That's exactly what they're trying to do, and that's exactly what their little programs are designed to do, is to give them more money. Number 3, they hate this country and they want to see her go under. Number 4, they hate you because you're an American.
I always find that argument so fucking dumb. Like, at no point in my consideration of right-wing people do I think they hate America. They don't. I think they love America very much. They don themselves in flags and call themselves patriots because that's what they think love for your country is. It's not, but they think that, so sure, they love their country. Fine. I think that they have a complete misplaced sense of what is good for your country and what is good for the citizenry and what actually helps people. That's the issue. I don't think there's some malicious evil force necessarily. I think most people who are on the right are genuinely ignorant, or in some cases, people like Ben Shapiro who are incredibly out of touch and don't understand that their policies actively hurt people, or people who just outright don't care. Those people do exist, but most people I don't think are like that. Muddy says, unrelated, but your voice sounds really good. You've made awesome progress. Thank you.
In fact, they hate humans in general, and they want to kill them off. Do not ever trust anybody from the government. I don't care what political party he is, though. Do not trust them from the government. The 9 scariest words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Well, that's...
Didn't Ronald Reagan say that? Is he quoting Ronald Reagan? Didn't he just say he hates politicians and political parties? Nick says, accept cops. And Tucker White says, okay, we need this again.
Shut up, shut up, shut up!
Yo&80 says, loving your country can also be like when you criticize a game you really like, not because you want it dead, but because you want it to get even better. Yeah.
Hey, but still. Those are the scariest words in the English language. For a reason. When the government tries to help, even if it's an honest effort to try to help, they fuck it up. And they do more harm than good. Most of the time, they intend to do more harm. Well, I think I got my point across. Remember, vote for policy, not personality. Judge by character, not by color.
Blackwing Haggerty says that quote is very I'm 14 and this is deep.
And as an American, it is your duty to defend the Constitution, to preserve and protect the Constitution, and to obey the law. And to protect and defend the rights of the man next to you, as he is required, well, not necessarily required by law, but required by bounds of morality to defend and protect your rights. We take care
he did the hat adjust because he thought it was good for emphasis.
of our own. Because nobody else will. If we don't take care of each other, nobody will take care of us. The entire world, everyone in the world, they will invade us and take our resources if we are busy fighting each other.
So we have to go invade them and take their resources first. Genius.
If they see an opportunity, they will strike. That's how it's done. That's how conquest is done. That's how Hitler did it. That's how the British do it. That's how the French do it.
The British. This guy's idea of the political landscape apparently comes from, like, prior to World War II? Muddy says, you remember the watermelon audience joke I made earlier in the stream? They've all been killed by the kids' stupidity. And America, yes.
That's how the Spanish did it. Same old story, generation after generation.
Yeah, I assume he genuinely thinks America is somehow an exception to this.
That's why you need a standing army. If you want a standing army. If you want a choice in where your money goes and how it goes. If you want border protection. If you want people like Kate Steinle to be saved, not buried. And if you want your babies to be born,
I don't.
to have their rights defined and...
Hey, here's the fun thing about being pro-choice. If you want your babies to be born, you can have those babies. And the same people who are pro-choice will advocate for you to get health care for that child. And yourself. Fun, right? Blackwing Hecate says he wants to be Horito Hornblower so bad. Horatio Hornblower. Variegated says he learned Conquest by playing an Age of Empires on his grandpa's old computer. Not hate to the game. It's not a model for real-life combat, Jones.
protected under the law once again, then vote for me for president. It is not yet certain whether or not I will run, but I am considering it. But don't just vote for me because I tell you to. There may be better candidates when I run, even if I don't know it at the time. You vote for who you think is the better candidate, but do not vote against the Constitution. That is all. Good day, everyone. God bless.
He thinks he nailed that. What are his more recent videos? I mean, 3 weeks ago he uploaded a video. Yoan says, honestly, we should see how his views change if we let him eat some babies, as we all do every Sunday at Satan Church. Was this a school project? It was an hour long. I've never known a school project that called for an hour-long video.
And I do not give.
He sings! Oh, he's a Trump supporter now, even though in 2019 he said, no politician. But now he's a Trump supporter. Muddy says he holds open the door for women and expects them to instantly drop down and slurp his dick off. Probably also says m'lady.
Oh, I'm a good old Trumper, now that's just what I am. And for a liberal con man, I do not give a damn. I'm glad I voted again it, I only wished we'd won. I don't want no pardon for anything I've done. I hate a liberal con man and everything they do. I hate the frauded election and the voter cards of blue. I hate the nasty donkey with all its lies and fuss. I hate their Marxist leader, it's dripping with our blood. I hate the Antifa banner, I fitted all I could. I donated to the Donald for 3 years thereabout. Voted in the election and on the Marxist fraud out. I caught a cynicism, a seeing their plan for the course. And the lying, thieving Marxists, I hate them worse and worse. I can't cast down my vote and have it count no more. But I ain't gonna give 'em my freedom, now that is certain and sure. And I don't want no pardon for what I say and am. I won't be reconstructed and I do not give a damn. I'm a good old Trumper, now that's just what I am. And for a liberal con man, I do not give a damn. I'm glad I voted again and I only wish.
How old is this video? 3 weeks old.
We'd won. I don't want no pardon for anything I done. And I don't say sorry for anything I say. Hey, do you know what opinions stink the most? The ones you pull out of your ass. Looking at you, Democrats.
He's trying to do YouTube shorts. Is this better or worse than Danzy? Worse? I'm not even, I was trying to go, no, unironically, Danzy is the better fucking singer. Like 100%. Danzy wins. Daddy Sume says, give me Danzy, please. No. I think if we played them both in the same stream, we'd all die. Nick says, holy shit, this guy just looks like he's not the legal age to take copium. Just Belmont says, communism means stuff I don't like. For example, this song is communism. Variegated says, it's kind of ominous with the meditative music in the background. Yeah. Dang it, I'm sorry I keep missing bits. The monitor that I use is at a different angle than it used to be, so I'm getting even worse at it because I have to turn further. So, like, on the 9th, my desk will be here, and I'll have my old desk again, but this is just kind of a pain. I'm sorry. Muddy said, lyrics aside, the backtrack is so shit for whatever the fuck he's trying to do. I know, right?
You want answers? I think I'm entitled to that. You want answers. I want the truth. Facebook keeps banning the truth.
Altered Rin with a link. No!
Welcome to Dancy Sings Big Singing Channel. This is the...
For the record, I didn't do this. Rin did this. Blame Altered Rin.
11th Trump song.
Oh no, I hit the play button and I forgot how the controls to the video work. What do I do?
Subscribe for more songs. More Trump songs and more non-Trump songs are on the way. More English songs and more Chinese songs are on the way too, to reflect America.
What? You can't stop the dance! The dance he lives!
Social life.
Don't unplug the internet!
It's very easy. You think it's strange. One big text tried to silence his voice. That we...
No. Why am I not subscribed? Jesus.
Hello, Facebook. Today we went to a Civil War reenactment. They let me join up. They honored me for my first time.
I was sub number 500. I guess I didn't even notice. That makes sense, though. Daddy Sume says, and so I've been forced from the stream. Hannah has figured out how to get rid of me.
They put gunpowder in my hand and water in it, told me to rub it together and put it on my cheeks. That was exciting. It was really fun. It was the first time I've ever been in a reenactment. I got to do it more often. And today I can honestly say, I fought for Virginia. I was in the 7th Virginia today. I fought for the South.
He's so proud of it. It's so weird.
I can honestly say that, and
literally LARPing. Yeah.
I'm so proud of that. I've been jumping in glee ever since. It was an honor. It was an honor to wear the gray, march, and fight.
It was an honor to pretend to be someone who fought and died so that slave owners could continue to own their slaves. Daddy Sume says his sexual arousal is so creepy. This is truly disturbing to me.
Oh, that was fun. I have to do that again. There are some photos and I think videos my dad took that day. Of today. Here. I have...
How weird. I guess we'll try and, like, check back in and see if he does anything else, but he doesn't post very often, so who knows. Alright, so the stream title, the main thing, even though we spent 2 hours dealing with that weird guy, why are right-wingers taking horse medicine? Let's see if we can figure it out. Muddy with 30 bits says, you guys are so lucky. My brother doesn't have a channel. His singing would probably break any computer, which he tried to play his dying pig that is deep-throating a corncob type voice. Your brother knows Jake? Do you think he jerked off on the battlefield or waited till he got home? Jesus Christ. Okay, seriously though. Title of the stream today is all about why are right-wingers taking horse medicine. So let's actually talk about it. And try and give a basic understanding as to why it's happening and why it's a bad idea. This is a thread from Reddit Out of the Loop. There are 2 answers that I think are actually pretty good and go into it. I'm going to read both of them, and then we're going to read some articles about the effects and what's going on with people taking this instead of just getting vaccinated like a reasonable person. Ivermectin is an anti-parasite medication. This is the medication that these people are taking. It does have a place in human medicine. For instance, the tropical disease river blindness. However, the World Health Organization, the FDA, and even Merck, an ivermectin manufacturer, said there was, quote, no meaningful evidence for clinical activity for the efficacy in patients of COVID-19. So why are people taking sheep meds? Because in December 2020, in a testimony before the U.S. Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, a critical care physician testified that ivermectin was effectively, quote, a miracle drug. Unfortunately, and not for the first time in the COVID-19 pandemic, the hype exceeded the evidence, and the studies he was talking about were all poorly controlled trials. In one case, the scientists running the study plagiarized and fabricated their data, and so the study was never formally published in a reputable journal. However, this study did appear online, and people who aren't scientists started spreading around misinformation. Why are people believing these flawed studies instead of ones done on the vaccine or other preventable treatments? This other one goes a little more in depth. This is the latest in a long history of vaccine misinformation from the anti-vaccine crowd. Ivermectin's history as a, quote, COVID cure is based on a small bit of fact. Early in the pandemic, it was studied as a potential treatment. It's an anti-parasite medication, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that it could do something, and since we don't have any good treatments early on, a lot of different things were tested. Another one you've probably heard of is hydroxychloroquine, another anti-parasite medication. Jamie Lynn says because they're stupid and that's why they're taking medicine, they're taking the medicine and paranoid. Jamie Lynn says it's also a neurotoxin. Bad for you. Ivermectin Ivermectin proved to be somewhat effective at eradicating COVID in a laboratory setting, but clinical trials in living humans were inconclusive at best and misleading plagiarism at worst. The hyperlink goes out to flawed Ivermectin. Preprint highlights challenges of COVID drug studies. The study's withdrawal from a preprint What? What did I say? Ivermectin. The study's withdrawal from a preprint platform deals a blow to the anti-parasite drug's chances as COVID treatment, researchers say. Throughout the pandemic, the anti-parasite drug ivermectin has attracted much attention, particularly in Latin America, as a potential way to treat COVID-19. But scientists say that recent shocking revelations of widespread flaws in the data of the preprint study reporting that the medication greatly reduces COVID-19 deaths dampens ivermectin's response and highlights the challenges of investigating drug efficacy during the pandemic. Quote, I was shocked as everyone in the scientific community probably were, says Eduardo Lopez Medina, a pediatrician in the Center for Study of Pediatric Infections in Cali, Colombia, who was not involved with the study and who has investigated whether ivermectin can improve COVID-19 symptoms. Quote, it was one of the first papers that led everyone to get into the idea ivermectin worked in a clinical trial setting, he adds. The paper summarized the results of a clinical trial seeming to show that ivermectin can reduce COVID-19 death rates. Ivermectin. Thanks! The paper summarized the results of clinical trials seeming to show that ivermectin can reduce COVID-19 death rates by more than 90%, among the largest studies of the drug's ability to treat COVID-19 to date. But on July 14th, after internet sleuths raised concerns about plagiarism and data manipulation, the preprint server Research Square withdrew the paper because of, quote, ethical concerns. Ahmed Aglazar at Bena University in Egypt, who was one of the authors of one paper, told Nature he was not given a chance to defend his work before it was removed. Early in the pandemic, scientists showed that ivermectin could inhibit the coronavirus SARS-CoV-2 in cells in laboratory studies, but data on ivermectin's efficiency efficacy against COVID-19 in people are still scarce, and study conclusions conflict greatly, making the withdrawal of major trial particularly noteworthy. Although the World Health Organization advises against taking ivermectin as COVID-19 treatment outside of clinical trials, the over-the-counter drug has become popular in some regions of the world. Some view it as a stopgap until vaccines become available in their areas, even though it has not yet been proven effective. Scientists worry that it will also be seen as an alternative to vaccines, which are highly effective. Now that sucks, because if you're someone in a developing nations, if you're someone who is in a developing nation and you don't have access to the vaccine and you're just desperate, and you hear about this, I have sympathy for you. I understand. It's still incorrect, but desperate people do desperate things. If you're in the United States where the vaccines are not only free but plentiful, and you can walk into basically any drugstore in the country right now and get one immediately, or at least make an appointment to get one for sometime in the next week or whatever, and you instead choose to take on untested, dangerous medication that you have no way of knowing how much to take because you're not a fucking doctor, then you're a piece of shit. And I don't feel bad for you. Muddy says, "Bro, I pissed on some cancer in a petri dish and it died. I think I know how to cure cancer now." Unfortunately, ivermectin has a couple of things going for it that have kept it going in spite of all the evidence against it. For one thing, it's relatively cheap. America. The vaccine's free. For another, it's fairly abundant even in poor countries like those in Latin America. If we're talking globally, sure. More effective treatments are more expensive and much harder to get a hold of there. Capitalism strikes again. Read that one. In America, though, blame can firmly be laid on conservative media, in particular Fox News, surprising no one who's familiar with that network. Last December, Fox News host Laura Ingraham interviewed a doctor who claimed to be an advisor to then-President Trump, and who was also on Fox specifically to talk about how social distancing doesn't work. This guest mentioned ivermectin as a safe and effective treatment that was being used in other parts of the world. Later that month, Republican Senator Ron Johnson hosted an official Senate hearing where he invited two anti-vaccine doctors to speak, both of whom advocated for ivermectin as a treatment. Last March, FDA issued a statement specifically about ivermectin. They said in their statement that they had not yet reviewed data that would support its use as a treatment. Unfortunately, actually means, quote, there isn't data to support its use, Laura Ingraham and other conservative media personalities interpret it as the FDA is too incompetent or corrupt to have looked at the matter. Of course, the real staying power came from the nature of anti-vaccine conspiracy thinking. The fact that scientists and doctors were telling people not to take it is actually just further proof that, quote, Big Pharma is trying to suppress a safe, cheap, and effective treatment. This, quote, theory also floated publicly on national television by Laura Ingraham. Last summer, social media companies started censoring and removing people promoting ivermectin. This, of course, only added fuel to the fire, and it was taken as much further evidence that the elites just want to keep the truth from you. The FDA has some facts about ivermectin on its website. It's approved as a treatment for certain kinds of parasites in humans, though usually only with a prescription from a doctor. It's also used to treat parasites in animals, and it's less controlled in this form. As an animal medicine, it is sometimes available over the counter, though animal medications contain different dosages. Horses and cows weigh considerably more than humans do, and may include other ingredients that are harmful to humans. Nick says, conservatives love saying follow the money, so maybe we should take their advice on the ivermectin thing. So, basically, right-wing media and conspiracy theories amplifying misinformation, being misinterpreted from flawed studies that were not peer-reviewed. Here's the FDA's, I don't know what you would call it. This is their article on it. Why you should not use ivermectin to treat or prevent COVID-19. COVID-19, we've been living with it for what seems like forever. Given the number of deaths that have occurred from the disease, it's perhaps not surprising that some consumers are looking at unconventional treatments, not approved or authorized by the Food and Drug Administration. Though this is understandable, please beware. The FDA's job is to carefully evaluate the scientific data on a drug to be sure that it is both safe and effective for a particular use, and then to decide whether or not to approve it. Using any treatment for COVID-19 that's not approved or authorized by the FDA unless part of a clinical trial can cause serious harm. There seems to be a growing interest in a drug called ivermectin to treat humans with COVID-19. Ivermectin is often used in the US to treat or prevent parasites in animals. The FDA has received multiple reports of patients who have required medical support and been hospitalized after self-medicating with ivermectin intended for horses. Here's what you need to know about ivermectin. 1. The FDA has not approved ivermectin for use in treating or preventing COVID-19 in humans. Ivermectin tablets are approved at very specific doses for some parasitic worms, and there are topical, on-the-skin formulations for head lice and skin conditions like rosacea. Oh, I have rosacea. That's why my face is so red. Maybe I actually do need to take ivermectin. Ivermectin is not an antiviral, a drug for treating viruses. Taking a large dose of this drug is dangerous and can cause serious harm. If you have a prescription for ivermectin for an FDA-approved use, get it from a legitimate source and take it exactly as prescribed. Never use medications intended for animals on yourself. Ivermectin preparations for animals are very different than those approved for humans. Dude from Moria says in Brazil, ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine were distributed by the government in some places. Also, the federal government spent a shitload of money making hydroxychloroquine above the normal price. Also, the CEO of Ivermectin Laboratory here sold 1,000% more ivermectin than ever before the pandemic, and he is a Bolsonaro supporter, of course. Overthought says, if you walk up to a chud with a carrot or oats, they'll eat right out of your hand. Just don't sneak up behind them, it might kick. Ivermectin tablets are approved by... Nope. Oh, no, that's right. I think. I read that one. The FDA has not reviewed data to support the use of ivermectin in COVID-19 patients to treat or prevent... I understand why they speak clinically like this, because this is the proper way to speak. But it just frustrates me that I watch enough conspiracy theories, and obviously we read someone else who just said the same thing. When they say the statement, the FDA has not reviewed data to support use of ivermectin in COVID-19 patients to treat or prevent COVID-19, what a conspiracy theorist reads is, we're not looking into this. Don't look into this. We are evil. I'm not saying they necessarily need to change their messaging to suit idiots. But idiots are kind of the problem. And they don't understand that this is like a reasonable, scientific, medical stance to take. However, some initial research is underway. Taking a drug for an unapproved use can be very dangerous. This is true of ivermectin too. There's a lot of misinformation around, and you may have heard that it's okay to take large doses of ivermectin. That is wrong. Even the levels of ivermectin for approved uses can interact with other medications, like blood thinners. You can also overdose on ivermectin, which can cause nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, hypertension, hypotension, allergic reactions, dizziness, ataxia, seizures, coma, and even death. Animal drugs are often highly concentrated because they're used for such large animals like horses and cows, which can weigh a lot more than we do, a ton or more. Such high doses can be highly toxic in humans. Moreover, FDA-reviewed drugs are not just for safety and effectiveness of active ingredients, but also for inactive ingredients. Many inactive ingredients found in animal products aren't evaluated for use in people, or they are included in a much greater quantity than used in people. In some cases, we don't know how those inactive ingredients will affect how ivermectin is absorbed in the human body. Meanwhile, effective ways to limit the spread of COVID-19 continue to be to wear your mask, stay at least 6 feet away from those who don't live with you, wash your hands frequently, and avoid crowds. So yeah. The CDC's out here being like, don't take horse medicine, idiots. It sucks. I gotta find that other article I pulled up. I had an article, I forgot where it was. Did I accidentally exit out of it? Here it is. Poison control calls spike as people take livestock dewormer to treat COVID-19. This is in Mississippi. The Mississippi State Department of Health sent a health alert Friday, warning healthcare providers about a drug used to deworm livestock that some are using to treat and prevent COVID-19. According to the alert, the Mississippi Poison Control Center has received several calls related to the ingestion of ivermectin meant for livestock, which is causing illness in COVID-19 patients. Ivermectin is approved for use in both people and animals, but animal drugs are highly concentrated and can be highly toxic in humans. And also, it's not approved for COVID in any way, shape, or form. According to the health alert, no one has been hospitalized due to the ingestion of the drug in Mississippi. At least 70% of the recent calls have been related to ingestion of livestock or animal formulations of ivermectin purchased at livestock supply centers. 85% of the callers had mild symptoms, meaning 15% had severe symptoms. There was an article the other day about a guy dying from it, too. Hydrate. Will do. Blackwing Hecate says, aren't these the same people always complaining about kink at Pride? Why are they so eager to show off how into pony play they are? Anyway, the point is this: don't take horse medicine. Even if you're able to get your hands on the human version of ivermectin, don't take it for COVID. There's no evidence that it's going to work. The concentrations of it you would have to take to have any effect on your COVID would kill you. So don't waste your time or money. Go get vaccinated. If you already have COVID, then stay resting. Go to the hospital if you need to. This shit is not going to help you. Stop it. Not that anyone who watches my stream is going to believe that shit anyway, but still, you know. Alright, someone sent me this video. It's someone getting arrested. They're an anti-vaxxer and a flat earther at Mount Rushmore or something.
How are you?
What's up, man?
How you doing now?
I'm doing good.
Oh, he's using like an amplified speaking device, like a wireless mic with a speaker.
Alright. So we're just coming back.
Yeah.
Want to give you every opportunity. We have the permit paperwork if you'd like to apply for a permit. We have your regulations showing you that this is not an approved area. Would you like to move?
Money says, this is like the exact opposite of the anti-vaxxer argument that they always bring up. There are things in some vaccines that are toxic in uber high doses, so don't take it at all. This thing only has super select users and shouldn't be taken in high doses, so I must ingest such things in high doses. Yeah. It's not about consistency. People like this just want to feel like they're smarter than everyone else. They're consummate contrarians. It's like welded into their personality. It's weird. Blackwing Hecate says he actually got arrested twice. Creaky Blinder talked about this.
No.
Okay.
All right. Well, so what's the decibel?
So, well, no, I'm citing you for engaging in activity.
Well, let me see the law.
You need to let him.
Do you know how the law works?
So what I'm asking, I'm going to need your ID.
I don't have to give you my ID. Are you detaining me?
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Okay, for what? What's suspicious?
He's amplifying his like weird sob sit anti-vax flat earther argument so everyone can hear him.
What kind?
If you fail to identify yourself, you're going to be detained.
So to detain me, you have to. Actually, to ID me, you have to detain me.
I just have to cite you.
No.
So I'm citing you with 36 CFR 1.6.
Which says what?
For failing to engage or failing to get a permit for an activity.
So can I see this? Can I see the ordinance?
Yes.
It's how most people get away with murder. When the cops say, stop, you're under arrest for murder, you just say, I will not identify myself. And then the cops are like, oh, fuck. They got us again. We can't arrest him if he doesn't give us his ID.
No.
So.
Well, you guys are. Yeah, I don't care if I'm outnumbered by brain dead zombies that go into house for curfews and lockdowns.
Okay. What I'm asking is, do you have an ID?
Oh, he's freaking out. He's freaking out.
Go back in your house. It's past your curfew.
Do you have an ID?
What's up?
Do you have an ID?
Am I being detained?
Yes.
Okay, so.
Yes.
Suspicion of what crime?
You are engaging in an activity that requires a permit.
Can I see the law,
yes.
then?
Let's go over here.
Why are you...
Nick says, doesn't he need magic wand for his legal magic? No, he's a component caster, so he actually doesn't need a spell focus. He just needs his components.
Trying to move me away from my camera to sight it. You're being really weird.
Can you take your camera?
No, you can just show it to me right now.
Here's a whole bunch of information.
Don't touch me. All right, look.
Just so I have you guys together, you're good together, right?
Come on over here.
Right, you said if we stood right
This is hilarious.
we'd be fine.
Yeah.
Spoke, but then you got your speaker and you got your banner
Yeah.
set up. Now,
You guys support this, don't you? The First Amendment being infringed upon?
so setting
Welcome to the
this
death of America.
all of this equipment.
Yay. Let's all clap because our First Amendment's getting thrown away.
They just said you have to go over here.
Only if we're selling.
You guys would have been real good in Nazi Germany. Probably would have been the part of the 98% that voted for Hitler. So, to detain me, you have to articulate suspicion of crime.
Yes, we keep interrupting.
We offered you.
So can I see it? You haven't even cited it yet. You haven't cited the ordinance yet. What does it say? Specifically, read it.
I'm not required.
Yeah,
to
you
do
are.
that.
Yeah, you are.
Negative.
Let him talk.
So
Read the ordinance.
engaging in an activity requiring a permit.
Okay, so specifically, which part of what we're doing requires the
Using an
permit?
audio device.
Okay, so what's the
Audio,
decibel reading?
Banner.
You can't have it at all.
So can I see the law?
Yes. He's trying to explain this.
I want to see the law.
So what I'm going to need is your ID. I'm going to need you to give me your name and date of birth, state of your auto.
I need to see the law. Are you not
Yeah.
listening?
So what I'm going to do.
Under 2.51 and 2.50,
Told
if
me
you're
you're with
engaging in an
this,
activity
so I'm
that
gonna
requires
Let
an
me just
audio
read it.
device, you need to have a permit.
Okay, let me read it.
Yeah.
You don't have to ID yourself.
You do
Look
have
at-
to ID yourself.
No, you don't. You're going to be fired, buddy.
You fail to ID yourself.
I was just at the White House doing this, by the way. You guys realize this is the death of our free speech.
Audio disturbances.
Okay? Does it have a certain
There's
decibel?
one. I'm up. But
I would assume Mount Rushmore is probably in a national park, right? I don't know that to be the case. I don't know anything about Mount Rushmore. Is it in a national park? Either way, I would imagine it's federal land. It is, yeah. They're gonna have different rules than in front of the White House. The White House itself, I've been in front of the White House. It's a hot spot for people to come and protest and stuff, and you're allowed to do that. I imagine there are also probably decibel regulations and stuff there, but if you go to the White House in DC, you're probably going to see some people protesting in front of there. It's a favorite of anti-abortion people, at least when I went. You know, I'm sure it varies. I'm sure there are people who go for, like, BLM stuff. I'm sure there are people who go for all sorts of stuff. It's a big protest spot, and because they know that, I'm sure there are regulations, but, you know, I imagine it's a little laxer than, like, in a national park right at the viewing site for Mount Rushmore. Just get the thing. They even said, like, we'll give you the thing to fill out, and then you have to go over here, and it's fine. Just fill out the form. Eris Malel says, "Welp, need to go make dinner. Enjoy Captain Sovereign Gingerbread, everyone." Thanks. Variegated says, I ran an annual Halloween get-together, and even though it was a small group most of the time, I had to get a permit from the city for us to meet in a public place without getting messed with by the cops. It's a simple courtesy and is usually free. Yeah. I generally understand stuff like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, the use of permits and free speech zones absolutely can be abused by the government to try and, like, silence people they don't like. I'm not saying that's impossible or that it never happens. However, I also understand why in a society with millions and millions of people in it, you need to make sure things are sort of orderly in the sense that, like, okay, you're going to be protesting in the park, your group is going to be there between this time and this time on this day. Okay, you do it this day because someone else wants to use this place to also protest another day. Everyone, you know what I mean? Otherwise, everyone just shows up and it gets really fucking complicated and no one can hear each other because they're all using bullhorns and screaming over each other about shit. Like, I understand why it exists this way. And there are other places you can go without a permit and do your shit. Do that. That's awesome. I have nothing against it. I disagree with this guy, I'm sure, because he's like an anti-vaxxer and stuff, and I don't think I'd like him. But he does have a right to free speech. Moppy Mutton says, I'd like to walk into this guy's house, drop a Swifty on the floor, and leverage my freedoms.
You guys are trying to intimidate us. That's why they won't show us the law. I read the law before I came here. Yeah, it says a certain decibel. I know that for a fact. Yes, it does.
If you have the permit.
What we're gonna do, I'm going to, if you fail to identify yourself, I'm going to...
Yeah, the discussion about the ethical issues with Mount Rushmore itself are a completely different topic for a different day. This is just happens to be the setting of this guy. I'm not going to talk about the fucked upness of the existence of Mount Rushmore where it does. Daddy Sume says, this one must spread its beliefs. Oh yeah, the Enkindlers.
I am not unreasonable. The Citadel is the Hanar.
Yeah, the Hanar,
You are certainly welcome to try.
Yeah, I always convince them, like, hey, get a fucking permit.
Do you desire to learn of the Enkindlers? Or has the Honorable CSEC officer enlisted assistance?
Is this really how you want to represent the Enkindlers?
The truth of the Enkindlers must be made known. They gave the Hanar language, and gave the universe the mass relays. This one only wishes to spread the truth to any who will listen. There is no intent to cause trouble.
Is this how the Enkindlers would want you to use this gift of consciousness?
The Enkindlers would wish for their message to be spread to all sentient races.
The Enkindlers wouldn't wish their message to be spread by breaking society's laws.
This one hears wisdom. Perhaps enthusiasm has clouded judgment in this matter. This one departs now, and will not intrude upon the Presidium again.
Katrina Hood says, trivia, Mark Meir, in addition to Dude Shepherd, also voices the Hanar. I can hear it now that you said that. I guess I never knew that, but yeah, I can hear that. That makes sense.
Arrest you for refusing to identify yourself.
Wow.
You love how he just vanishes. Yeah, they didn't really... In any of the Mass Effect games, have they shown one of that species, like, moving around? I don't think they have. I think they're always stationary. I think by 3, they did finally show an L-Core moving around. Maybe a little bit, in just, like, a walk cycle. They have? Was it, like, the third one? I haven't played the third one very much.
Number 2, I'm going to confiscate all of this as evidence.
Yeah, that's called theft, big tough guy.
It's called
let me tell you what the law says.
Yeah.
You do see him walking around in the second one? Okay.
So whenever you have to come give a warning as to someone doing something illegal,
I gave it to you.
You have to cite the law and read what it says as to what is prohibited.
I don't think that's true. Daddy Sume, you do have to, like, the time to make sure you know your charges is at the, oh gosh, why am I blanking on the name? It's a court procedure. We talk about it all the time in Sovereign arraignment, thank you, yes. Thank you, Hell's Wake. For some reason I forgot the word arraignment.
I didn't realize you were coming too. Set. Doom what recently happened.
I assume this is maybe a clip where we see one walk or something. Yep. It's a cutscene,
This
though.
one tried. This one's efforts fell on obstructed auditory senses.
Actually, that was me. Sovereign, Saren. You might have heard of him.
And his pro
And appetizers.
Club.
I've been in the club for 3 years now.
Correct. But you are not an Ultra Spectre Elite. 4000 Deluxe. This one is a 7000. This one has less recoil and faster.
Cue the stunt double!
I gotta play 3. I still haven't finished 2. I played 3 when it first came out, but I haven't played it since then, so I don't remember it. And I don't even think I had all the DLC for it. So I don't know if that's DLC or what, but I don't recognize that scene. I've never seen one of them hold 2 blasters. That's pretty hilarious.
Engaging in...
Live stream it. Guys, I don't think you want to watch me play video games. I'm not an entertaining video game streamer. I'm not. I don't have anything of substance to say. It's not fun.
An activity requiring a permit.
It's the Citadel DLC? Okay. Daddy Sume says the Citadel DLC is amazing. It's the best shit. It's just a giant love letter for the fans, full of memes. Fun.
So what part of it requires the permit?
Your audio device and your banner.
So can I read the law? Is that an unfounded request?
I'm not required to print out and show you.
You are required to cite the ordinance and say what it says. Okay, then I'll just research. I'll look it up. Say the ordinance again.
Keep your hands out of your pockets for me.
Say the ordinance again, buddy.
Do you have any weapons on you?
Say the ordinance again.
36 CFR 1.6.
If this guy wasn't white, this would be going way worse for him.
36 CFR 1.6.
Yeah.
This is hilarious. I have to do your job for you.
No problem. So, sir, let me ask you, do you have any weapons on you?
No.
Sir,
do you have weapons on you?
I do.
Yeah, you're really intimidating me. Oh, man. Chill out, bro. You're going to cuff me for what?
Sir, put your hands behind your back.
For what?
I'm going to take your phone. Put your hands behind your back.
Are you kidding me?
Nope. Put your hands
Wow.
behind your back. You're under arrest.
I'm under arrest. This is public property, bro.
Brother, you had a chance.
I asked you just to show me the law, man.
You keep interrupting.
I asked to see the law, dude.
To you. You're gonna know what the law.
Hentai Skeleton says the audacity of white men never ceases to amaze me.
When you get addressed to it in the court of law.
Are you kidding me right now?
No.
Why
I'm
can't I
not
just?
kidding.
Do you know it's illegal to not tell me what the law said?
You're watching the game I Am Jesus Christ for You. Did it come out yet? Because I did want to play that.
And we've been trying. You keep interrupting.
I've asked you 30 times.
And I'm trying to explain it 30 times.
Okay, will you tell me what the law says then?
You need to stop. You need to stop.
Will you tell me what the law says?
Clap! Yay! It really happened.
Wow.
Please just calm down, okay?
No, you refuse to identify him.
Please.
No, I did not. I asked you to tell me what the law says.
Look.
Engaging in a crime, engaging in activity requiring a permit. Setting up this speaker in the banner on the DVD.
You guys are fucking tyrants, dude.
Look, that is your opinion.
No, it's not touching me, man.
Look, just
Fuck
calm
you,
down.
dude.
Okay.
All I did was ask you to read the law.
Yeah, I understand.
And you guys still never read the law.
Oh, sorry. I downvoted it because I thought it was this guy's channel, but it's not. Upvote.
You guys that over there?
Hey, dealing with
Mr. Tonight Kingo says, I love people cheering. It makes it even better.
this gentleman, the same thing. He's either going to identify himself or going to detain him as well.
So why can't I just ask you what the law is? Is that not reasonable?
I told it to you multiple times.
But I wanted to know what it said, man. Because I had 5 different officers
I'm not required to
lie about what the ordinance is, like numerous times. You have to prove that what I'm doing is illegal, man.
It's kind of the court's job is to make sure that you did the illegal thing.
It's the law, dude.
And I did. 36 CFR.
And it says what specifically?
Engaging in activity requiring a permit.
And then underneath that, it identifies this as an identity that this needs a permit. You know, as specific. So why wouldn't you just tell me what it says? Not on a microphone. America's not free anymore. America's not free. You have the right to be heard, but not in America, I guess, where my friends died. So I asked you where specifically it says that.
If he's not going to identify himself, he's getting detained too.
Just,
What's that?
Yeah, thanks. His ID's in the truck.
Okay. Well, why don't you go
Right behind him is the amphitheater area where you could have set up without a permit.
and escort him over there.
I hope that's true.
so you're not even going to just tell me what the law says?
I already did.
No, you didn't.
Come on. We're going to walk through this way.
Oh, hey, what's this guy's name? Look. Wow, dude.
Here, let me give you my.
That's kind of friggin' awesome. Oh no, is this a right-wing channel though? Fucking yikes. Oh no. Racial slurs. Well, now I gotta go back and re-downvote it, even if I thought the video was funny. Holy shit. Ugh. Why are people shitty? The amphitheater is a free speech area at the monument. He might not be allowed to use his microphone if you went there, though. Not sure. Alright, let's do this, and then we'll probably call it a night. I'm gonna go unpack some stuff with Baja, and maybe watch a movie or something later. We're rewatching the Spider-Man movies to catch up for the new one coming out. Going back to the Tobey Maguire ones. We just watched the first one the other day. So. Alright, so you guys might remember Sidney Powell and Lynn Wood's Kraken lawsuit that they claimed was going to overturn the election. Surprise, it didn't. But it was not only thrown out of court incredibly quickly, but they've been sanctioned for this lawsuit. This lawsuit was so bad that they are both being fined and given mandatory 12 hours of law training. They have to sit in a classroom for 12 hours and be taught about election law. Variegated with a link that'll check out.
So there's the Star of David, and it says never again is now. What does that mean?
Whatever happened back in World War II, it was never going to happen again, but it's happening now.
Why are you on the floor?
When can I check the P.O. box? Good question. Hopefully soon.
Do you think that they're gonna line us?
I've been thinking about getting a second one that's just here, because I'm an hour and a half away from Jake now, where the other P.O. box is. So I've been thinking about getting my own, so if you guys want to send just me something and I can do my own unboxings, I don't know. I gotta think about it. Toxoplasmane, thanks for following, and Nimble Parsley, thanks for following. Opinion and order. This lawsuit represents a historic and profound abuse of the judicial process. It is one thing to take on the charge of vindicating rights associated with an alleged fraudulent election. It is another to take on the charge of deceiving a federal court and the American people into believing that rights were infringed, without regard to whether any laws or rights were in fact violated. This is what happened here. Now, this judge is pretty scathing. Individuals may have a right, within certain bounds, to disseminate allegations of fraud unsupported by law or fact in the public sphere, but attorneys cannot exploit their privilege and access to the judicial process to do the same. And when an attorney has done so, sanctions are in order. Here's why. America's civil litigation system affords individuals the privilege to file a lawsuit to allege a violation of law. Individuals, however, must litigate within the established parameters for filing a claim. Such parameters are set forth in statutes, rules of civil procedure, local court rules, and professional rules of responsibility and ethics. Every attorney who files a claim on behalf of a client is charged with the obligation to know these statutes and rules, as well as law allegedly violated. Specifically, attorneys have an obligation to the judiciary, their profession, and the public to conduct some degree of due diligence before presenting allegations as truth, to advance only tenable claims, and to proceed with a lawsuit in good faith and based on a proper purpose. Attorneys also have an obligation to dismiss a lawsuit when it becomes clear that the requested relief is unavailable. This matter comes before the court upon allegations that plaintiff's counsel did none of these things. To be clear, for the purpose of the pending sanctions motions, the court is neither being asked to decide, nor has it decided whether there was fraud in the 2020 presidential election in the state of Michigan. Rather, the question before the court is whether plaintiff's attorney engaged in litigation practices that are abusive and in turn sanctionable. The short answer is yes. The attorneys who filed the instant lawsuit abused the well-established rules available to the litigation process by proffering claims not backed by law. Proffering claims not backed by evidence, but instead speculation, conjecture, and unwarranted suspicion, proffering factual allegations and claims without engaging in the required pre-filing inquiry, and dragging out the proceedings even after they acknowledged that it was too late to attain relief sought. And this case was never about fraud. It was about undermining the people's faith in our democracy and debasing the judicial process doing so. Well, there are many arenas, including print, television, and social media, where protestations, conjecture, speculation may be advanced, such as expressions, are neither permitted nor welcome in a court of law. And while we as a country pride ourselves on the freedoms embodied within the First Amendment, it is well established that an attorney's freedom of speech is circumscribed upon, quote, entering the courtroom. Indeed, attorneys take an oath to uphold and honor our legal system. The sanctity of both the courtroom and the litigation process are preserved only when the attorneys adhere to this oath and follow the rules, and only when the courts impose sanctions when attorneys do not. And, despite the haze of confusion, commotion, and chaos counsel intentionally attempted to create by filing this lawsuit, one thing is perfectly clear. Plaintiffs' attorneys have scorned their oath, flouted the rules, and attempted to undermine the integrity of the judiciary along the way. Wow. That's bad. As such, the court is duty-bound to grant the motions for sanction filed by defendants and intervener defendants, and is imposing sanctions pursuant to Rule 11 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure and its own inherent authority. On November 30th, 2020, a record 5.5 million Michigan residents voted in the presidential election, resulting in then-former Vice President Joseph R. Biden Jr. securing over 150,000 more votes than then-President Donald J. Trump. By the following evening, President Biden had been declared the winner in the state. Even though Michigan law establishes an extensive procedure for challenging elections, see, and there's a citation, plaintiffs did not avail themselves to those procedures as they conceded at the July 12, 2021 motion hearing before this court. Instead, at 11:48 p.m. on November 25, 2020, the eve of Thanksgiving holiday, plaintiffs, registered Michigan voters, and nominees of the Republican Party to be presidential electors on behalf of the Senate filed the current lawsuit against Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Michigan Secretary of State Jacqueline Benson, and the Michigan Board of State Canvassers. The following lawyers electronically signed the pleading: Sidney Powell, Scott Hagerstrom, and Gregory J. Roll. The complaint listed the following attorneys as of counsel: Emily Newman, Julia Haller, Lynn Wood, and Howard Kleinhendler. On November 29th, a Sunday, plaintiff filed inter alia an amended complaint and an emergency motion for declaratory emergency and permanent injunctive relief and memorandum in support thereof. Motion for injunctive relief. The same attorneys who electronically signed or were listed as of counsel on the initial complaint signed or were listed on the amended pleading. The amended pleading also listed Brandon Johnson as additional of counsel. In their amended complaint, plaintiffs allege 3 claims pursuant to 42 U.S.C. 1983. Violations of Count 1, the Elections and Electors Clauses, Count 2, the 14th Amendment, Equal Protections Clause, and Count 3, the 14th Amendment Due Process Clause. Under Count 4, plaintiffs asserted violations of the Michigan Election Code. Underlying plaintiffs' claims were their contentions that defendants 1. Failed to administer the November 3rd, 2020 election in compliance with the manner prescribed by the Michigan Legislature and the Michigan Election Code. And 2. Committed a scheme and artifice to fraudulently and illegally manipulate the vote count to make certain the election of Joseph Biden as President of the United States. Plaintiffs asserted that their claims were supported by, quote, the affidavits of dozens of eyewitnesses and the statistical anomalies and mathematical impossibilities detailed in the affidavits of expert witnesses. Again, there's those affidavits that we talked about when the initial lawsuit was filed. They're basically garbage that they just got from anyone they could get. They got a bunch of right-wingers who were working near or with the elections and were like, do you want to say anything suspicious happened? And they solicited a bunch of affidavits that went nowhere. Surprise. Plaintiffs attached hundreds of pages as exhibits in their pleadings, some of which included affidavits from individuals and reports from purported experts. Most of these affidavits had been submitted by different lawyers in prior Michigan lawsuits challenging the 2020 presidential election. The other lawsuits include Costantino versus City of Detroit, and then it lists some other ones. Plaintiffs cited these materials in support of the factual allegations and other amended complaint and motion for injunctive relief. Plaintiffs asked the court to inter alia decertify the election results and order defendants to, quote, transfer certified election results that the state of Sorry. Quote, to transmit certified election results that state the President Donald Trump is the winner of the election. So they were asking for them to just be like, just judge. Tell them they have to say Donald Trump won Michigan, even though he didn't. Nick says, due diligence, motherfuckers. Do they speak it? Plaintiffs maintained this court had to issue this relief by December 8th, 2020, because on that date the results of the election would be considered conclusive. That was the day, was it December 8th? I think, December, oh, that's when the Electoral College voted, December 8th. Took me a second, sorry. But, excuse me, throat's getting real dry. By December 1st, motions to intervene had been filed by the city of Detroit, Detroit residents, and Michigan voter Robert Davis, and the Democratic National Committee and Michigan Democratic Party Democratic Party. As of that date, however, plaintiffs had not yet served defendants with the pleadings or the motion for injunctive relief. Thus, on December 1st, the court entered a text-only order to hasten plaintiffs' action to bring defendants into the case and enable the court to address plaintiffs' pending motions. Plaintiffs served defendants on December 1st, and the court thereafter granted the motions to intervene and entered an expedited briefing scheduled with respect to plaintiffs' motion for injunctive relief. On December 7th, the court issued an opinion and order denying plaintiffs' motion and thereby declining to grant plaintiffs the relief they wanted, which the court noted was, quote, stunning in its scope and breathtaking in its reach, as it sought to disenfranchise the votes of more than 5.5 million Michigan citizens who participated in the 2020 election. I believe we read that ruling when that came out, too. Basically, this is when the case got thrown out. The court concluded that plaintiffs' lawsuit was subject to dismissal based on any one of the several legal theories. 1, their claims were barred by the 11th Amendment immunity. 2, their claims were barred under the doctrine of latches. Is it latches or lashes? Lashes? Latches. I always get that wrong. I know I have some lawyers who watch. Muddy says, oh no, my pain meds are wearing off and I can't take any more today. At least I still have dumbasses to laugh at. Thank you, Hannah. Of course. They lacked standing. They lacked standing. 4, their claims were moot. And 5, abstention was appropriate under the doctrine set forth in Colorado River Water Conservation District versus United States. But the court also concluded that the plaintiffs were not likely to succeed on the merits of their claims. Latches? Okay. Thank you, Nick. As to plaintiffs' claim that defendants violated the Elections and Electors Clause by deviating from the requirements of the Michigan Election Code, the court pointed out that the plaintiffs failed to, quote, explain how or why such violations of state election procedures automatically amount to violations of the clause. And case law did not support plaintiffs' attempt to expand the Constitution that far. Thus, the court found plaintiffs' Election and Electors Clause claim was, quote, in fact, a state law claim disguised as a federal claim. With respect to plaintiffs' attempt to establish an equal protection claim based on the theory that defendants engaged in tactics to, among other things, switch votes for former President Trump to votes for President Biden, the court found the allegation to be based on nothing more than a belief, conjecture, and speculation rather than fact. As to the due process claim, the court noted that plaintiffs abandoned it. The day after the court issued its decision, attorney Stephanie Lynn Juntila, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, entered her appearance in this matter and filed a notice of appeal to the Federal Circuit on behalf of the plaintiffs. The notice was updated on December 10th to reflect the proper appellate court. On December 11th, Sidney Powell, Stephanie, that lady whose name I'm butchering, I'm sorry, and Howard Klein-Hendler filed a petition for writ of oh god, I know how to pronounce this, I've pronounced it before. Certiorari, this word, help me out, lawyers. A writ of certiorari. Can you tell I'm not a lawyer? Anyway, in the United States Supreme Court, in the petition, when urging immediate Supreme Court review, plaintiffs wrote, once the electoral votes are cast, subsequent relief would be pointless. Don't laugh at me, Kath. On December 15th, 2020, the city served a letter, safe harbor letter, and motion, safe harbor motion, on plaintiffs' attorneys, threatening sanctions pursuant to Rule 11 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. Specifically, counsel for the city sent safe harbor letter and safe harbor motion via electronic mail and first-class mail to Sidney Powell, Gregory Roll, Stephanie Lynn, Scott Hagerstrom, Lynn Wood, and Howard Kleinhandler. Sir Ter Erie. It's an order asking the Supreme Court to immediately look at their thing. God damn it, lawyers. Speak English. Ooh, look at me. I'm part of a profession that still uses Latin. What are you, the Catholic Church? Seriously, though, I'm sorry. In the meantime, the Supreme Court did not rule on plaintiffs' petition for writ of... Oh, there's the word again. That's a shame. Sir Ter Erie. Sir Ter Erich. Sir Shah Rari. I gotta throw this in there. Every time you guys start thinking I might be smart, I gotta correct you. I'm definitely not. Anyway. On December 22nd, Davis filed a motion seeking sanctions against plaintiffs and their counsel pursuant to the court's inherent authority. On the same day, motions to dismiss were filed by the defendants. The city's motion to dismiss included 4 paragraphs discussing why plaintiffs and plaintiffs' counsel should be sanctioned pursuant to that. And all 3 motions to dismiss reflected that concurrence had been sought but not obtained from plaintiffs' counsel. Plaintiffs' response to Davis' sanctions motion was due by January 5th. And their response to the motion was to dismiss were due on January 12th. On January 3rd, plaintiffs filed a motion seeking an extension of time to respond to Davis's sanction motion, citing counsel's current assignments and the need for more time to prepare a response. The court granted plaintiffs' response. Blackwing Hecate with 30 bits says, Sir Shi Orari. Yeah, I'm not gonna remember that. No. Sir Shi Orari. Sir Shi Orari. Fun fact, in high school, I got voted. There are 2 people who were voted most likely to go into politics. Me, who now does this for a living, and one of my best friends at the time, Billy, and she became a lawyer. So. But how many Twitch followers does she have, am I right? Can we time Hannah out? I wish. Someone else want to take over the stream for a little while? Anyone but Daddy Sume. Lupine can't speak English. On January 14th, plaintiffs filed what was docketed as a response to all 3 pending motions to dismiss, but the single response brief addressed only... Oh, speaking of which, this is my ADHD acting up. I don't know if I let you guys know. The issues I was having with the court name change documents that I needed, it's all set. So on the 30th, I should be able to go in, get my court appearance done, and I should officially have my name changed. So, cool. Daddy Sume says, The Quacken has been stonified and defeated by angry judge. Okay, I'm just going to skip ahead to the next section. Sanction motions. The state defendants and intervener defendants... Blah, 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 blah. The state defendants seek sanctions against plaintiffs' counsel under 1927, or alternatively the court's inherent authority. The state defendants contend that the sanctions are appropriate pursuant to 1927 for 2 reasons. First, plaintiffs' counsel unreasonably and vexatiously multiplied the proceedings in this litigation by failing to dismiss the case when their claims became moot, which plainly occurred upon the vote of Michigan's electors on December 14th, if not earlier. Counsel knew or should have known that their legal claims were frivolous, but the counsel pursued them nonetheless, even after the court's opinion, concluding that the plaintiffs were unlikely to succeed on the merits of their claims for multiple reasons, which included the weakness of their legal claims and the lack of factual support. And the state defendants argue sanctions pursuant to the court's inherent authority are appropriate because plaintiffs' claims were meritless. Their counsel should have known this, and their real motive in filing the suit was for an improper purpose. Basically, they're saying, you should, give these people sanctions because this was not about an actual court filing. They were using this for a political purpose. That's just the city of Detroit also speaking in applicable law. I kind of just want to get to the sanctions part because I think that'll be funny, and then we'll call it a night. Someone who's an actual lawyer will probably go through these and actually know what the fuck's going on. Oh, the Lynn Wood section might be pretty funny, actually. Lynn Wood. At the July 12th hearing, Wood maintained that the court lacked jurisdiction to sanction him because he played no role in drafting the complaint. He signed it. Did not read any of the documents with respect to the complaint. Was not aware of the affidavits attached to it, and did not give permission for his name to be specifically included in this action. When the court asked Wood if he gave permission to have his name included in the pleading briefs, Wood answered, quote, I do not specifically recall being asked about the Michigan complaint, but I had generally indicated to Sidney Powell that if she needed a quote-unquote trial lawyer, that I would certainly be willing and available to help her. In this case, obviously my name was included. My experience or my skills apparently were never needed, so I didn't have any involvement in it. Would I have been objected to be included by name? I don't believe so. He's basically admitting I didn't read any of the arguments, but I kind of let him put my name on it. Which you're not supposed to do. The court then asked Wood if he gave Powell permission to include his name on the filings in this matter, to which he responded, I didn't object to it, but I did not know. I actually did not know at the time that my name was going to be included. But I certainly told Miss Powell in discussions that I would help her if she needed me in any of these cases, and in this particular matter, apparently I was never needed, so I didn't have anything to do with it. Wood, then being denied, served with the motion for sanctions and stated that he was present only at the hearing because the court required him to be there. I'm just here so I don't get fined. According to Wood, my audience isn't going to get a sports reference. That was a poor choice. According to Wood, he only discovered that he had been included as a counsel for plaintiffs in this matter when he saw a newspaper article about the sanctions motion. I didn't receive any notice about this until I saw something in the newspaper about being sanctioned. When the court turned to Powell and asked whether she told Wood his name was being placed on the pleading, Powell first answered, my view, Your Honor, is that I did specifically ask Mr. Lynn Wood for his permission. I can't imagine that I would have put his name on any pleading without understanding that he had given me permission to do that. Powell then suggested that perhaps there was a, quote, misunderstanding between her and Wood, and Kleinhendler did not recall whether he spoke to Wood before Wood's name was included on the pleading. The court does not believe that Wood was unaware of his inclusion as counsel in this case until a newspaper article alerted him to the sanctions motion filed against him, and this is why. First, the city's motion for sanctions was filed on January 5th, 2021. At no time between that date and July 12th hearing did Wood ever notify the court that he had been impermissibly included as counsel for plaintiffs in this action. Almost a month before the motion hearing, the court entered an order requiring each attorney whose name appears on any of the plaintiff's pleadings or briefs to be present at the hearing. Wood still did not submit anything to the court claiming that his name was placed on these filings without his permission. No reasonable attorney is a sticking point here, in my opinion. Bold of you to assume Lynn Wood is a reasonable attorney. Would sit back silently if his or her name were listed as counsel in a case if permission to do so had not been given. Second, Wood is not credible. That's in a fucking court document. Oh my god. Second, Wood is not credible. Oh my god. Can you imagine being a lawyer your entire life and then near the end of your career, you get a fucking sanction and in the court document, the court says, second blank is not credible? Oh my god. I feel like that would fucking hurt. He claims that he never served with the city's motion for sanctions. However, counsel for the city represents that the motion was sent to Wood via email and regular mail. Kimberly Hunt, the office manager for the city's attorneys, affirms in an affidavit that she mailed via first-class U.S. mail a copy of the safe harbor letter and the safe harbor motion to Wood, among others, on December 15th, 2020, and no copies were returned as undeliverable. his supplemental brief in order to put his oath behind his factual blah blah blah. More importantly, Wood's social media postings undermine his current assertions, as do his statements in other court proceedings. As discussed during the July 12th hearing on the day the city emailed copies of the safe harbor letter and safe harbor motion to plaintiff's counsel, Wood tweeted a link to an article containing a copy of the motion. What an idiot. Stating, when you get falsely accused by the likes of David Fink and Mark Elias, ellipses, in a propaganda rag like Law and Crime, you smile because you know you are over the target and the enemy is running scared. Oh, that was stupid of him. Let me see if Sidney Powell has their own section. Like I said a while ago, I joined Telegram just so I could keep an eye on some of the crazier QAnon people like Lynn Wood. And that dude, I get notifications on my phone on average twice an hour that Lynn Wood is like, I don't know what you call tweeting on Telegram, but if it's a tweet, I'm a Twitter person. Every time he shoots off a fucking Telegram post, it's twice an hour. It's crazy, and it's always the craziest fucking vitriolic, angry conspiracy shit. It's bonkers. All right, just get to the sanctions. I want to see the specific wording. Counsel's failure to present any evidentiary support for factual assertions. Assertions. Why do we keep saying assertions when it's assertions? What's wrong with my brain? Plaintiff's counsel failed to present any evidence to support their allegation of illegal double voting. To support this factual assertion, plaintiff pointed to a single piece of, quote, evidence, the affidavit of Jesse Jacob. That affidavit states in part, quote, I observed a large number of people who came into the satellite location to vote in person, but they had already applied for an absentee ballot. They're allowed to do that. Fun fact. In Michigan, it's differing by state, but if you apply for an absentee ballot and then the day of the election comes, you can still show up to the polling place. You just have to be like, hey, I applied for an absentee ballot, but I'd rather do it in person. I'm here, and they'll just do that, and it's fine. It's not an issue. That's legal. Fun fact. Emphasis added. Of course, applying for an absentee ballot is not evidence that someone voted via an absentee ballot, and when the court highlighted this lack of evidence as to double voting during the hearing, plaintiff's counsel responded, quote, I think there's inferences that can be drawn, and it should not shock this court that somebody could show up after having asked for an absentee ballot and then shown up to vote again. And then they get arrested if they do that. That's illegal. The system pings that and goes, oh, there's 2 sets of votes from this person. Let's go get them. It does not shock the court that a Michigan resident can request an absentee ballot and thereafter decide to vote in person. Indeed, Michigan law says that voters can. Quote, an absent voter may vote in person within his or her precinct at an election, notwithstanding that he or she applies for an absentee voter ballot and the ballot is mailed or otherwise delivered to the absent voter by the clerk. If, before voting in person, the absentee voter returns the absentee voter ballot. But the court is concerned that plaintiff's attorneys believe that a Michigan resident's choice to do so serves as a circumstantial evidence that the Michigan resident, quote, double voted. It does not. Inferences must be reasonable, and come from facts proven, not speculation or conjecture. Plaintiff's counsel presented affidavits that were based on conjecture, speculation, and guesswork to support the allegation that, quote, unsecured ballots arrived at the TCF Center loading garage, not in sealed ballot boxes, without any chain of custody and without envelopes after 8 p.m. election day deadline, end quote. Plaintiff's, quote, affidavit of Matt Scientar, which is a masterclass on making conjectural leaps and bounds. Rubble with 95-bit says, this is both not surprising and frustrating, and there's a link. Attorney for Alabama's Republican governor indicted for soliciting a child by computer for sexual acts. Shocking. Hydrate. So here's a quote from the affidavit. which the court says is a masterclass on making conjectural leaps and bounds. The afternoon following the election, as I was taking my normal dog walk mid-afternoon, I witnessed a dark van pull into the small post office located in downtown Plymouth, Michigan. I witnessed a young couple pull into the parking lot and proceed to exit their van. No markings. Do you expect them to have on the side, "We have ballots in this truck"? That seems dangerous. And open up the back hatch and proceed to take 3 to 4 very large clear plastic bags and walk them over to a running USPS vehicle that appeared as if it was waiting for them. There was no interaction between the couple and any USPS employee, which I felt was very odd. They did not walk inside the post office like a normal customer to drop off mail. It was as if the postal worker was told to meet and stand by until these large bags arrived. The bags were clear plastic with markings in black on the bag, and on the inside of these clear bags was another plastic bag that was not clear, could not see what was inside. There were what looked like a black security zip tie on each bag, as if it were tamper-evident type of device to secure the bag. By the time I realized I should have taken pictures of the bags once I noticed this looked odd, they had taken off. I straight up just don't think this one happened. I think this guy just committed perjury. The other oddity was that the appearance of the couple after the drop, they were smiling and laughing at one another. People enjoying themselves on election day? Conspiracy! What I witnessed and considered that what could be in those bags could be ballots going to the TCF Center or coming from the TCF Center. Oh my god. I saw people with bags at a post office. What the fuck? When the courts asked plaintiff's attorney how any of them, as officers of the court, could present this affidavit as factual support of anything alleged in their pleadings and motion for injunctive relief, counsel emphatically argued that, quote, "The witness is setting forth exactly what he observed and the information that he bases it on. He saw these plastic bags. It is a true affidavit." Wasn't one of the evidences a food truck bringing food to the poll workers? Yes, it was. One of the affidavits, I believe, or at the very least one of the accusations made, turned out to be a catering truck that was bringing food to the poll workers. And they're like, what are they bringing in that truck? Food. The volunteers, who are fucking angels for dealing with all this shit, needed food. The court accepts that the affidavit is true and that Siantar memorialized what he saw at the time, but the court cannot find it reasonable to assert, as plaintiff's attorneys do, that this, quote, shows fraud. Absolutely nothing about this affidavit supports the allegation that ballots were delivered to the TCF Center after the election day deadline. And even if the court entertained the assertion of plaintiff's counsel that this affidavit is, quote, is one piece of a pattern, end quote, reflecting fraud or defendants' violations of Michigan election laws, this would be a picture with many holes. This is because a document containing the lengthy musings of one dog walker after encountering a, quote, smiling, laughing couple delivering bags of unidentified items in no way serves as evidence that the state laws were violated or that fraud occurred. During the hearing, plaintiff's counsel further asserted that, quote, we don't typically rewrite what an affidavit says. That is good. But pursuant to their duties as officers of the court, attorneys typically do not offer factual allegations that have no hope of passing as evidentiary support at any stage of the litigation. Basically, why did you even file this? This can't be used for evidence for anything. What are you doing? To support the allegations that, like, they didn't do their due diligence is basically the issue, in any way, shape, or form. They just threw everything at the wall and hoped something stuck. To support the allegations that defendants fraudulently added tens of thousands of new ballots to the qualified voter file on November 4th, 2020, all or nearly all of which were votes for Joe Biden, plaintiffs quote the affidavit of Melissa Carone. Oh, is that the drunk lady? Who was like, I signed my name. Do you? Which describe, quote, facts that demonstrate no misconduct or malfeasance and amount to no more than strained and disjointed innuendo of something sinister. Quote, there was, I love, my favorite thing in, like, court documents is when someone says something grammatically incorrect and they just have to put the sick there because it's like, we're saying this verbatim. We're not dumb. This person's dumb. I'm going to read this in her voice. There was 2 vans that pulled into the garage of the counting room on the day shift and one on the night shift. These vans were apparently bringing food into the building. I never saw any food coming out of these vans. Coincidentally, it was announced on the news that Michigan had discovered over 100,000 more ballots not even 2 hours after the vans left. So that's the one where it's food. Nick says, Melissa Carope. The amended complaint calls for a, quote, illegal vote dump, but nothing described by Carone connects the vans to any ballots. Nothing connects the illusory ballots to President Biden, and nothing connects the illusory votes for President Biden to the 100,000 ballots coincidentally announced on the news as, quote, discovered in Michigan. Yet not a single member of plaintiff's legal team spoke with Carone to fill in these speculated filled gaps before using her affidavit to support the allegation that tens of thousands of votes for President Biden were fraudulently added. It's also notable that when the court asked plaintiff's counsel whether an affidavit's observation of a self-described coincidence serves as evidentiary support for the allegation that a, quote, illegal vote dump occurred, plaintiff's counsel appeared to say that it was okay in this case because Ramslin, quote, relied on the Carone affidavit for his statistical analysis, and an expert can rely on hearsay. Okay, to my understanding, and bear in mind this understanding comes from literally watching fucking Legal. Not a lawyer. Don't take what I say as if it's fact. I'm just trying to explain what may be going on here. To my understanding, expert witnesses have a lot more leeway in what they are allowed to opine upon, in what they are allowed to have conjecture upon. I don't know if hearsay evidence. There are a lot of hearsay exceptions to my knowledge, but I don't know if one of them is an expert is allowed to opine upon some sort of hearsay evidence, air quote. I don't know. But it's a stupid thing because they're saying because their expert witness, air quotes, used her bullshit foundless claim of coincidence in his statistical analysis, that it doesn't throw suspicion on his analysis, but instead somehow retroactively makes her allegations more valid, even though it's entirely based on the fact that she just said, that seems like a coincidence. Like, that's not how that works. But the problem with the Carone affidavit does not concern hearsay, it concerns conjecture, and surely plaintiff's attorney cannot fail to reasonably inquire into an affidavit's speculative statements and thereafter escape their duty to stop and think before making factual allegations based on the statement simply because their expert did the same. Basically, your expert sucks. It doesn't mean you get to suck. Plaintiff's counsel further emphasized that if Carone said things that don't turn out to be entirely accurate, that can be discovered through the process that this court is very familiar with. The court assumes the attorneys are referencing the discovery process, but here's the snag. Plaintiffs are not entitled to rely upon the discovery process to mine for evidence that never existed in the first instance. And then, citation, Goldman versus Barrett. Speculation, coincidence, and innuendo could never amount to evidence of an illegal vote dump, much less anything else. It goes on to point out where they, didn't have evidence for their bullshit claims. Again, I want to be done, so I'm just going to skip to the actual, shit that has to happen to them. There's sanctions imposed. Conclusion. In summary, the court concludes that plaintiffs' counsel filed this lawsuit in bad faith and for improper purpose. Further, they presented pleadings that, one, were not, quote, warranted by the existing law or by a non-frivolous argument for extending, modifying, or reversing existing laws or establishing new law, and two, contained factual contentions lacking evidentiary support or likely to have evidentiary support. Finally, by failing to voluntarily dismiss this lawsuit on the date plaintiffs' counsel acknowledged it would be moot, and thereby necessitating the filing of motions to dismiss, plaintiffs' attorneys unreasonably and vexatiously multiplied the proceedings. For these readings, and not for any conduct that occurred on appeal, the court, I like that they put that line in there, I assume, because they thought they were going to try and, like, you can't do this, it's because we were trying to appeal. That way, I mean, they're still going to say it's because we tried to appeal things, but... Daddy Sume says, I would like to call Gina Carano as an expert witness. Is it a case on how to act badly? And destroy your own career? For these reasons, the court holds that sanctions against plaintiffs' counsel are warranted under Rule 11, and the court's inherent authority. Sanctions are required to deter the filing of future frivolous lawsuits designed primarily to spread the narrative that our election processes are rigged and our democratic institutions cannot be trusted. Notably, many people have latched onto this narrative, citing as proof counsel's submission in this case. The narrative may have originated or been repeated by former President Trump, and it may be one that many Americans, quote, share. However, that neither renders it true nor justifies counsel's exploitation of the courts to further spread it. Whether sanctions should be awarded to intervener defendants, plaintiffs do not challenge the court's power to award sanctions to intervener defendants. However, plaintiff maintains that under 1927, a party seeking sanctions has a duty to mitigate their damages. According to plaintiffs, the city and Davis did just the opposite by intervening in this lawsuit, where they were not being sued, and plaintiffs assert had no necessary interest to protect. The court already concluded, however, that Davis and the city possess a substantial legal interest in this matter, warranting their intervention, either as a matter of right or permissibility. Of course, every intervener could mitigate its damage by staying out of a lawsuit. However, choosing to step in does not on its own mean parties cannot seek an award of sanctions when they prevail in protecting their interests. Despite this, the court declines to award sanctions to Davis because he did not substantially contribute to the resolution of the issue in the case. As the court noted in its opinion denying Davis's request to intervene as of right, the state defendants, the DNC, MDP, and the city aimed to protect the interests of all Wayne County voters, including Davis. Although the court grants Davis's request for permissive intervention, the court noted that its decision was a close call, and that it granted Davis's request only because his intervention would not unduly delay or prejudice the adjudication of the original defendant's rights. In fact, Davis's involvement did more to interfere with than insist the advancement of this litigation. Davis's briefs added little to the discussion, and he often clogged the court's docket with inconsequential requests and wasted the court's limited time with the same. Moreover, despite speaking only twice during the almost 6-hour-long sanctions hearing, Davis's counsel, unlike counsel to every other party to this case, opted not to file any supplementary briefing, presumably because, again, Davis had nothing to contribute. Ultimately, the court refuses to reward Davis for taking the court's time and giving nothing back. Sanctions imposed. This lawsuit should have never been filed. The state defendants and the intervener defendants should never have had to defend it. If plaintiffs' attorneys are not ordered to reimburse the state defendants and the city for the reasonable fees and costs incurred to defend this action, counsel will not be deterred from continuing to abuse the judicial system to publicize their narrative. Moreover, this court has found the plaintiffs' counsel initiated this litigation for improper purpose, rendering this, quote, the unusual circumstance in which awarding attorneys' fees is warranted. So these guys have to pay for the defendant attorney's fees in these cases. They have to pay the state's costs for doing these trials and all that shit. Which is gonna be expensive! I kinda love that. Further, given the deficiencies in the pleadings which claim violations of Michigan election law without a thorough understanding of what the law requires, and the number of failed election challenge lawsuits that plaintiffs' attorneys have filed, the court concludes that the sanctions imposed should include mandatory continuing legal education in the subjects of pleading standards and election law. They have to go back and learn more law. Lastly, the conduct of plaintiff's counsel, which also constituted violations of the Michigan Rule of Professional Conduct, calls into question their fitness to practice law. This warrants a referral for investigation and possible suspension or disbarment to the appropriate disciplinary authority for every state bar and federal court in which each attorney is admitted. So they're going to send this basically to everywhere that these lawyers are, part of the bar in. And they'll either, if it's going to depend on the states and the federal jurisdiction under which they practice law. Some of them are going to suspend them. Some of them will probably not do nothing. Some might get disbarred. I don't know. Pretty fucking fantastic. Accordingly, it is ordered that the motions for sanctions filed by the state defendant and the city of Detroit are granted. The court is granting in part and denying in part Davis's motions for sanctions, in that the court finds sanctions warranted but not award of Davis's reasonable attorney fees or costs. It's further ordered that plaintiff's attorney shall jointly and severally pay the fees and costs incurred by the state defendants in the city of Detroit to defend this action. So again, they have to pay for the state defendants and city of Detroit's costs for this lawsuit, which are probably, because it is a lawsuit, exorbitant. It's further ordered that within 14 days of this opinion and order, the state defendants of city of Detroit shall submit time and expense records specifying for each attorney who performed work on the matter, the date, the hours expended, the nature of the work performed, and where applicable, the attorney's hourly rate. Plaintiff's counsel may submit objections to the requested amount within 14 days of each movement's filing. Oh, I'm sure they will. It's further ordered that plaintiff's attorneys shall each complete at least... This is great. This is so good. This is my favorite part. The money's awesome, and of course the disbarment and suspensions will be fun. But this one, in particular, I think is going to hit them in the ego, and I like that. It's further ordered that plaintiff's attorneys shall each complete at least 12 hours of continuing legal education in the subjects of pleading standards, at least 6 hours total, and election law, at least 6 hours total within 6 months of this decision. Any courses must be offered by a non-partisan organization and must be paid for at the counsel's expense. Within 6 months of this decision, each attorney representing plaintiffs shall file an affidavit in this case describing the content and length of the courses attended to satisfy this requirement. Now, Linwood and Sidney Powell, go take 12 hours of classes on law and come back and write us a little report on what you learned. What are the chances we find out they lied about and never take these classes and they get further sanctioned? Because there's no way Lynn Wood is going to do that shit. Zero. Lynn Wood is a crazy person. Lynn Wood is not going to do that. It's further ordered that the clerk of the court shall send a copy of this decision to the Michigan Attorney Grievance Commission and the appropriate disciplinary authority for the jurisdictions where each attorney is admitted, referring the matter for investigation and possible suspension or disbarment. 1, Sidney Powell, Texas. 2, Linwood, Georgia. His license has already been suspended in Georgia unless he gets a mental health evaluation. I'm not kidding. He's not allowed to practice law in Georgia unless he gets a mental health evaluation, and he said he's absolutely not going to do that. So, 3, Emily Newman. 4, Julia Holler. You get it. It's just listing all the people and where they're going to get the stuff sent to. It is so ordered. Linda Parker, U.S. District Judge. Fuck yeah, Linda. Get it. That's awesome. That's genuinely so awesome. I love it. I love it so much. Alright, let's see who we are going to raid so that I may go do other stuff and eat some dinner and spend time with my love. A lot of people are streaming right now.
Straight out of Mexico. That's what his hat says.
Character. Yeah.
This is what.
Yeah, let's do Shark. Alright. Have a good night, everyone. Tomorrow is Friday, right? It's Friday. Yep. Tomorrow's Friday. I do have electrolysis tomorrow, but since I live in town now with the same town as the electrolysis, I don't have to drive a long way. So I'll stream tomorrow. Not sure what I'm gonna. Not sure what I'm going to stream tomorrow, but I will be here. So, yeah. Hope you guys can show up. Thanks for coming today. Give me a follow if you're not already. Go check out my YouTube channel. Join the Patreon. We'll be doing a Patreon live show very soon. Probably this weekend at some point. So keep an eye out for your Patreon messages and posts and stuff. And yeah, that's it. Have a good night, everyone.